Welcome to Lorelines, everyone. Fallon Hawk speaking. Episode 13. Today we're going to be discussing the FanFest and the PLL summary. I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. We had a whole bunch of fun on Friday, although I think we were all very tired. And anyway, we're back at full strength and ready to talk. So I'm just going to open it up to the team and welcome again. Good to see you guys here.
All ready for that
Thank
curtain call.
Okay,
What's up, everyone?
What's up?
Like, follow, subscribe, hit our Patreon up, blah, 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 hit that bell, the notification.
Goddamn.
Yee!
I hope everyone enjoyed the FanFest this weekend, whatever they got to see of it. It was really exciting to me having one that you didn't have to attend in person because I've never been able to do that before. So, first FanFest.
Join the rest of us.
I would have
will
gone
say
last
that-
year, but didn't happen.
My body feels very similar after this one, after the way it felt at the one I was at in person. So
I've never been to one either.
Yeah?
For the record.
I'd love to attend one in the future with some of you. Absolutely.
They're always in Vegas, and I'm like, man, I live in the East Coast, so I don't really feel
that's
like...
because
I was going to
they
attend
love
one.
gambling.
Apparently like Vegas a lot.
I actually bought a samurai outfit for the one in 2019, but or was it 2020? I think I was planning to go to the one the following year, but yeah, I bought the outfit and COVID happened, so I haven't been able to use the outfit for 2 years, maybe for 3 now.
It's interesting, like, they outgrew the Las Vegas location that they like to use, so they were going to go with California
Yep.
for the
Oh,
next
that would have
one.
been expensive.
They had been
Yeah,
looking
they-
at New York too, but they needed a certain size venue, and what they found was in California.
They were going for Comic Con size venue because they had the San Diego Convention Center.
I would definitely
Yep.
respect one on each coast or one right in the middle.
Right.
Yep.
Vegas is like Southwest, and I'm like, yeah.
Either way, it's going to be expensive for hotels and stuff.
Facts.
Yep.
Well, Bonnie, we have a document that you guys put together with slides. I don't know how we want to start off today, to be honest, but there was a lot that went on this weekend, and yeah.
Let's go ahead. Yeah, let's go ahead and go
Two
into it.
ideas on how we could start. We could either start by watching the trailer and then slowing the trailer down and analyzing it.
There we go.
Or we could quickly recap the PLL first, since that's shorter.
Let's recap the PLL because it was not very long. It's just a bunch of like quick summarizing information, some new screenshots, mainly Bosnia, which is what we're going to be talking about next week, by the way.
Yep.
I'm very excited. Is there anyone on the team that we need to carry through?
Nope. Alright.
Gotcha.
Mila?
I don't have time.
I mean,
know,
my
we
alt,
understand.
my primal alt could certainly use some help with Bosja, but I'm otherwise prepared.
Is there anyone in the chat we need to carry through?
Oh yeah, true. We have 3 data centers, right?
Right?
Could set up the whole thing.
I mean,
Is there any European in the chat that maybe I can help with? Because,
Cricket.
like, Europe doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I think 4
I'm
of
rank
us,
I'm rank 15,
or is it
so
5? Is it 4 of us who are on Primal?
I'm technically on Aether and Primal now.
I see.
I have a well-developed alt on Primal for many reasons, so I'm able to interact more.
Okay, and Ayumi and me for sure, and
Yep.
Bonnie for sure.
And data center travel coming soonish.
Oh, I'm
Yes.
so excited. We were just
We're
talking
gonna
about
be
this
able to-
earlier.
Yeah, we're gonna try and meet all of our characters up in game for like a
Yes.
session. That would be lovely.
We'll have, like, an actual
they
slide that's for live.
Did they confirm they intend to make data center travel between, not just between zones being around the world, or are we eternally locked into North America,
My
Europe,
my
Japan,
take was that they
Oceania?
intended to mean global data center travel. Now, as you travel to a different cluster in Japan or something, you're going to have massive ping issues, but I think they're trying to free us up to be able to. I hope it's not just continental.
With
Okay.
the
Or
new data
regional.
center coming, I'm imagining they're wanting to make it so that it's cross-region.
Right, like Japan geez, what is the word? Guys, help me. Australia.
Oceania?
Yes.
Oceania?
Oceania, there you go.
There we go. Yeah, I'm sure that
Yeah.
they'll be able to cross travel, but the question would be like, can Oceania go to like Europe? You know.
Isn't that the data center Yoko Taro is going to delete? So they announced it just so they could delete it.
You're funny. You're cute.
How rude!
Rip.
You know what, though? Meowth and I are already speculating, trying to figure out what he's going to do at the end of the epilogue of the Yorha quests.
And
Yeah.
before the Yorha quest announced that all 3 NA data centers are getting deleted and just merged into one data
Someone's getting deleted, but it probably won't be the data centers.
Rip.
Well, let me throw us over to the slides channel.
Yeah, throw us over the slides and go down to the PLL.
What happened?
Well, you're in rare form today, Bon.
Oh?
If there's anyone who's not in great form, that's me. You don't know how fucked my sleep schedule is right now.
Oh, yeah. I wanted to talk about Reaper, too.
Don't worry, we'll get there. Are you okay?
No,
Calm.
these guys here are the only witness. Well, and Soldier are the only witnesses of my unholy screaming at the Reaper reveal.
The only
Yes.
witnesses, you say?
Yeah, I was not there.
Yeah,
I
I was
apologize.
there. I mean,
They're in spirit. I mean, I had my phone open.
well, I think it was justified. Like, I had doubts that we were going to get exactly what you were looking for in terms of the who, but the what was spot on. The design even matched. I don't know if you guys heard her screaming about that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I
We
would
need
like
to
to just,
clip
as
her
a
scream.
favor, can we pull that up really quick? As a favor to the great
Yeah,
and
yeah.
powerful, omniscient
Damn.
Meowth.
Meowth's gonna die again. Get ready, Tara.
Pull up her scream or pull up
Listen,
her...
I want Magus
I-
Hades,
The
basically.
artwork.
Oh
I
yes,
didn't-
yes, please.
listen, I didn't sign up for this. I mean, one thing.
Yes, you
is
did.
my art-
You knew what you were coming in
Alright,
for.
one sec, pal. Because she
No, I
posted
didn't
it
know.
in chat yesterday.
We have it in chat?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
grabbing it.
so I don't know if you guys ever saw this, but she made this at the very beginning when we saw what we thought was a scythe post, like the pole part of the pole arm and the curve. And
Around the
she
time.
immediately was like, okay, Hades, Reaper, probably not dead.
I actually
Uh,
designed the.
Alright, check your
even the-
DMs, pal.
On it.
I actually designed the job icon and everything, and
That was interesting too, because like it was spot on.
I mean, we've not been shown the show icon, the job icon yet.
We have not yet.
Uh,
Look forward to it, TM.
Like all I know for Reaper is that like
It's
immediately,
not even a job stone, it's just a scythe.
immediately on 6.0, I'm gonna log out in Old Off, wake up, and like grab that right away. It's such an amazing look aesthetically, and it looks fun as hell.
You have to carry around a scythe in your hand, a scythe in your pocket. It's like carrying your keys, just not on a keychain.
You'll be able to harvest as you go, harvest souls, and harvest wheat.
Can't believe Xenos is going to be a botanist.
Rip.
Well, I mean, that's the old imagery of the Grim Reaper bearing a scythe is because they would compare lives to like grains of wheat,
There you go,
and they
Loves.
just go through and harvest them. You know, read some cool stories on
in the lower
Please chat
part.
explode.
that. It's very nice.
Let me explain. I base a quick explain. I made these, and these guys are witness to how the concept art process was mostly made because I was sharing the process in Discord. And I finished this 26th of February. And I basically, I was trying to use Zalira as a reference for this, but kind of ended up pretty much like Giratina from Pokemon.
Is it Emmett Flakes, Bonnie?
But
Flakes. Thank you for that.
No.
The lower parts, the coat parts, is not like the Reaper we're shown, because that seems to have more greaves instead of, well, the coat part. But what actually made me like, oh god, I actually was spot on this was the cape and the shawl and the armor pauldrons. And that's what made me, oh my god, that's the part of I mean, here it's in a gray scale that meant to be kind of, I'm quite simplistic in this, but was meant to be a chest armor of sorts, knowing it was main gear, so it has to be.
This is awesome. Can you do me a huge favor and put a floating Koji Fox behind that?
Oh yeah, please. So,
oh my god.
The memes.
Yes, please.
I mean, you deserve some public credit for having this foresight. It's insane. If you even look at the way the chest piece is designed, definitely. The gray piece, it's very much similar to what Yoshida was wearing, like that kind of body plate. You know, just it was awesome to see that it was so close.
Well,
yeah,
definitely. I guess kind of explains my screaming. and then there's the in the side of the class. I actually predicted the class, the job's name. What the fuck?
Well, we had the discussion that Necromancer wasn't possible, and what's the next thing?
Yeah, well,
it's the thing, definitely, absolutely takes on Necromancer kind of vibe,
correct.
But pushes it in that melee direction, and it really works.
But without summoning the corpses of your forebears.
Yeah, that's what bothers me about this class.
Right to the left of the class. That's the job icon I designed. It's basically meant to be the hood of a Reaper made of scythes. I mean, it's probably not what it's going to be, but if it resembles this, consider me screaming for all of eternity.
Yeah, because it's kind of like,
I need to hear that.
What even would they make the icon for Reaper?
The scythe.
Probably a general scythe shape.
Yeah,
skull.
like maybe a skull.
I was going to say, as Fao brings up, part of the reason why we have a void scent, not like a dead thing, and probably also didn't get Necromancer, is because in some places games cannot have, media cannot have like depictions of the dead. For example, in the Chinese version of Final Fantasy, there are no skeleton enemies. No skeleton enemies. They get replaced with something else. I don't know.
By law or culture, and it's a global game, so they have to be careful with what they release. And this is a good thread. Like they threaded the needle, meaning.
Another really good example of that is League of Legends with the champion Karthus. In North America and Europe, he's, a lich. He has a skull for a face, but they had to like completely redo him for China.
Last thing I have for me out this picture, the Scythe Proserpina is the alternate name for Persephone.
It's the Roman name of Persephone.
Yeah.
And we do know that Neth loves Roman stuff.
And so does Hades.
In Final Fantasy Type 0, one of Size's scythes, that's kind of redundant, but Size is one of the characters. One of Size's scythes is actually named Persephone's scythe. So what I did here is basically, Garleans are rather Roman, so I'm going to go with Persephone's Roman name. And there you go, Proserpina.
It's great. It's absolutely great. Well, I guess I'll pop back with their thing.
So, one issue. I mean, I love this artwork. I'm kind of transitioning back to the class as it was presented to us. The lore kind of makes me raise an eyebrow because they said the avatar is a void scent that we summon and let possess us essentially, and the only thing I could think of at that point was how well that worked out at Hauk Manor, and I was like,
yeah. And I have to also wonder, like, we know so much more about the Void Scent and how they used to be people of the 13th, and they mostly seem to be at least vaguely sentient, or some of the higher end ones on the ladder certainly seem to possess sentience relative to the Sin Eaters, who are all like just constructs essentially of light. So I have to wonder if this void scent we're going to be inviting into us is either sentient or at least sapient.
I don't think it'd be much help if it wasn't, to be honest. The
There's gonna be
Senators do
job
have
quests.
consciousness. It's just
We
crunched.
learn anything
over-
about who it used to be, essentially.
Are you excited for the job quests? Because that's what they're going to talk about for sure. I'm like,
The first job quest in Old Daw to get the Reaper is probably going to be something along the lines of, "Hey kid, want to see a dead body?"
I love it.
The trainer
to be
chucks
fair,
the
they
meat.
did that.
The thing with the Reaper is that they're going to start in a level in which there's actually no job quest. Level 70 is the role quest of Shadowbringers. So
It does have to have something to teach us, though, logically speaking.
it's, of course, there's going to be the first quest that's probably going to teach us the basics of the Reaper, and then there's the final quest after 5.0 that you can't go there. You can actually go through if you haven't done 5.0, and that's the final quest of your job in Shadowbringers. And we know this time around, again we're going to have role quests, so it's going to be not related to our job entirely. So what I'm guessing is, because they're locked, the final quest for Shadowbringers is locked after 5.0, that means the dying gasp. I have thoughts. Because this job, I mean, there are many things that are pretty damn deliberate. And that's why I'm still holding to having depicted Hades as a Reaper.
The Void Scent are interesting because they're like essentially ego on steroids, the self just overwhelming, which is why they're all like greedy, give me ego, give me power. Not ego, ether. So that's why they have this hierarchy, sort of a fighting thing. Whereas the what we see with the Sin Eaters is much more of a hive mind. We know there's still intelligence, there's still knowledge there. Go run Holminster Switch and see oh gosh, I'm blanking on her name.
Tesleen?
Yeah, Tesleen. Go run Holminster Switch and see Tesleen say, "I'm sorry." She's still in there. She just isn't in control. The Light Warden is. I have a strong feeling that's going to become relevant in Endwalker.
You should be super sad for the Songbird.
So
That was disproven if you're referencing what I think you're referencing.
Are you certain? Because she has aura horns.
Mm-hmm. Because that specific Sin Eater is there before, like, anything
that's
else.
Right. Well, anyway, whoever that was, same deal?
we could be sorry for all of them because
Yeah, it doesn't
you know,
Yeah,
so
that-
much
it is
matter.
very
true.
tragic. It is very tragic, though. Specifically, knowing them also has an effect. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do also want to point out regarding Void Scent and intelligence and hierarchy and all that is the Void Scent have this basically council, if you want to call it that. I almost want to call it a warlord council, but maybe cannibal council is more accurate for Void Scent. I don't know. Like, if I recall correctly, there's 12 of them that are basically what I like to call Night Wardens because they're the leader of their respective groups.
But vastly more sentient.
Yes,
Like,
because
they're individuals. They just are monsters.
in the same way that one's soul becoming more umbral when under the effect of a primal makes you care about the primal, you default to another power. Whereas if you make the soul more astral, now you care more about yourself.
Yeah, basically the Void Scents are like the different, I don't know, I am not sure right now how many there are, but it's basically the different courts of hell, which there's each court has like its overlord, and they're constantly fighting amongst themselves to see who is the big fish in
Indeed.
and that's why and of course the Sin Eaters are completely different. They're based on angel hierarchy, which is very strictly classified in any angelology book. Well, decent any decent angelology and kind of occult thing. Well, these themes. And the angels have different, very quite fine spheres and hierarchies inside these spheres, but all of them will obey the higher sphere without question, because that's how they are. They don't fight among themselves. They just follow the higher power. No question. They follow the higher power because it is the higher power, unlike the Voidson. Anyway.
That makes me wonder, building on Neela's point about Umbral and Astral and how will defaults based on how aspected you are. When the Warrior of Light performs a selfless act, they get a crystal of light. And I'm wondering if that's just the manifestation of their will defaulting to someone else's in order to not shift their soul in an umbral direction.
Basically, through your sacrifice, a crystal born, or a warrior born.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
With regard to the original point of will this be a problem, if we subscribe to Xenos's and probably Xenos's scientists' assertion that it's the relative strength, warrior light will be fine.
That's true, unless we, summon the cloud of darkness or something of that level.
We should avoid
Let's
doing
not.
that.
I mean, I wouldn't mind. Maybe
No.
Xenos's Voidson is actually Fandaniel.
That's what I was going to bring up. I hadn't thought about that, but we don't see any sign of such a thing. So now I'm wondering if Xenos is indeed the class so far as to have a guardian spirit, or what.
All I know is I really now need art of Xenos Reaper with Fandaniel doing the Koji Lurg.
God.
Good energy.
I need that so bad.
Bon, sorry to ask.
I facepalmed during that part.
Version of this?
I can figure out how to make a
I'm
read-only
trying to
version.
type to talk periodically, and I keep doing this because I can't push to talk and then.
Yeah, because of the focus.
In any case, my point when I saw the Reaper and the Avatar, I mean, it feels like, I don't know, like the beta version of Asian priming.
So, Fal, in the top right of Google Docs, there's the suggesting, editing, whatever drop down. Change it to viewing. Did you find it?
Honestly, since Asians have on many occasions summoned Void Sent to fight us, and since Xenos seems to show many Asian-like powers, summoning a Void Sent probably isn't too difficult for him, but I do wonder if he wouldn't even need to. The Fandaniel think I'm just sitting here like, no, it couldn't be, or could it?
Got it, thank you.
No problem.
On task, Reaper. Looks like it is a DPS. I don't know if I didn't watch the entire thing, so I don't know if they fully revealed, but I thought it was sharing armor, probably with Dragoon of Maiming. Is that right?
They said that.
That was
they say that in the first keynote.
Yes,
They did. Very good. Yeah, it looks really crazy. Like, not very lorelines related, but I think I'm gonna play it. I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna play it, so I'm really excited. Holy crap.
Meh.
Yeah.
Well, since we're on the topic of Reaper, do we want to go ahead and watch the video real quick on stream before we move back to the plan?
You know what I think would be cool if it can serve as host for their avatar. If you do that and you lose control of your character for like 5 to 10 seconds, and it just auto fights for you.
But it's not a pet class.
That's kind of
But like it takes over your character, not as a pet.
Now I'm thinking of class quests involving something where you just can't control it at first.
Yeah.
Oh, the possibilities for trolling.
Indeed.
Also, the thing that the job quests are planned to start. I mean, not. I mean, it's not that unusual for other quest lines to start in Ulda, like Red Mage and Samurai both start in Ulda. But in case of the Reaper, it was kind of cackling to my internally because the very first thought that came to my mind, I was like, oh god, Ulda is the patron deity is Nolthal.
Okay,
Yeah,
hold
which
on.
is just very appropriate.
So Sludge Prince in chat just got my brain going. On the idea of Xenos absorbing a void scent, you know, with the way the resonance works, he could probably do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's drinking that Sea of Souls.
Isn't that more or less what he did with Shinri?
What if he gives
Yeah.
great
Yeah.
grandpa?
No, please. He did mention
Maybe
That is what I suggested.
Maybe he's just like, I'm gonna open up a gate to the void, and we're going to shove all these void scent in.
Yeah, even though
Why
he can
not?
do that, he doesn't have soul sight, so he wouldn't be able to pick out a specific soul.
What do you mean he doesn't have soul sight? He recognized Van Daniel's.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. He
That was
does.
that was the reason I thought Van Daniel must be a lesser Ascian, because he says something like that hue or your soul ... that hue. Who are you?
Yeah.
Got it. I stand
Now,
corrected.
I think he may recognize. I think he may have recognized that he was an Asian, not necessarily who he was.
He wasn't
Well,
dressed
that-
for the part. He was in white, right?
Indeed. That is why I came to my conclusion, because he didn't recognize the individual soul, but he recognized the general color.
The color of an Asian.
Yeah, he shows up wearing void arc clothes, so.
I think this was rather before I met you in Bond, so we didn't have a chance to discuss it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
Oh,
just a
God.
second run through.
Game Lore Geek, I really hope so. I think that would be awesome.
The colors are
Yeah, that would be amazing.
The feathers too. The effects have feathers.
and the background is Garl mode.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah, oh no, this is absolutely Ilsebard.
What
They-
comes behind Garlemald? Well,
they-
yeah.
Look at-
The
Garl mode.
subtext here for everything is just like so good.
I'm a vision.
The color choices too.
I love how flashy it is. Like, I don't like most DPS in the
this
game,
is Gimlet Dark.
but
Yeah, that's Gimlet Dark.
yeah, they swap between Gimlet Dark and Ilsebard. I really don't like most melee DPS in the game. The only melee I like that's currently in the game is Monk. But I'm definitely going to have to try Reaper and see if I like it.
I initially thought it was very Bloodborne-y, but that was really just his cosplay. The actual AF gear is not so much.
Mm-hmm.
It still looks like it thematically fits into the environment
Oh,
and
for sure.
the rest of the jobs.
No, I did like this. Someone took the
I'm
Bloodborne cover
so-
art and put Endwalker over it.
I'm so glad they use a Hrothgar for the Reaper representation because I love my Bar Alliance.
Yeah, Hrothgar representation for Reaper and Vera representation for Sage.
For Sage, yay.
All right, let's go back to the plan and go to the PLL section and recap the PLL so that we can then get into the juicy bits.
Mm.
I love how you emphasize juicy there.
Juicy bits, no less.
Fair warning, I will be talking about Van Daniel's lips.
Hey, Lamau.
We will let you.
It's lower, damn it.
It is.
Healthier crafting.
No, but I think in all fairness, you made very interesting points about there. We actually made very interesting points on body language during the trailer.
Okay, who's driving the bus?
I'm still eating breakfast, so if you want to read off the slides,
Who's
let
driving
feel
the
you go
bus?
for it.
Sure. Welcome to what's to come in patch 5.55. It's coming out on May 25th, 2021, which is really soon, thankfully. I'm ready to play it. It's going to include Part 2 of Death Unto Dawn, as well as Save the Queen updates, the new Badsha, and epilogue quests for Yorha. So I don't know. I guess somebody is really hype about triple triad cards because they added that as their fourth bullet, their fourth check. So for all you card players, please look forward to it.
Please look forward to it. There's one member of my FC who is obsessed with triple triad, so
I do like that they've added tournament mechanics and other things to the game since I played, but it was many years of waiting. So
I love triple triad. I simply haven't had the chance to collect that many cards.
it's easy GP every week. Though.
Hmm.
Anyway, PS5 is also going live on the 25th, so if you have one, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought that you don't have to rebuy the game if you already have a PS4 key. You can just port
You do
the
not.
game over. So it's totally free. Get your PS5 and you get your better version of
let's
the
get a
game.
PS5.
That's it.
Yeah.
Just get a
That's all
PS5.
you gotta do.
Good luck.
Yeah, my wife is already playing on PS5, the beta, and then she tried to go back to PS4, and she hated it.
Yeah.
So she's on PS5 permanently now.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm glad she liked it, though.
So, Save the Queen. That's the queen on her robot chair.
Yep.
They just used that as a placeholder. The boss fight is in Delupum Reginae, so...
Which is an incredibly good instance, by the way,
really
incredibly
cool.
fun.
It is.
You'll hate yourself, but you'll love yourself when you've done it, and then you'll want to go back.
Yes.
It's a very weird feeling. It's like, I just lost 40k
That's
metal.
true.
What's going on? Why do I want to go back?
Yes,
They
you
have-
kind of run this like
Yeah.
40 times for relics.
They have
It's like a
thing-
roller coaster. When you're on it, you don't want to be there. But when you're done with it, you're like, that was pretty fun. I could
Yeah,
go
it was
back.
fun.
And then you're back in, like, why did I do this?
Absolutely. So, new
Yes,
battlefields.
it is much
Zeinalov.
like Stockholm.
Is it? Oh yes, much like yes, exactly. So Zadnor is the new zone, the new battlefield. It says right here it's on the border with occupied Dalmasca, in the northeast of Basya. Sunken Plateaus, Zadnor. So another battlefield. It's gonna look fun. I don't have any video or screenshots prepared, but it looked very fun. And then the Dalriada airship for the instance associated with it. Final chapter of Save the Queen, resistance cap up to 25, new skirmishes, and the new large-scale assault is 48 players.
The cap will be raised, but you still, being level 10 of resistant rank, you can enter the Loreliada, from what I understand.
Yeah, I heard that too. I don't see that here, but I think that's the case. So you don't
I
have
think
to be
they
15
say-
to start it.
I think they said that, they mentioned that pass, and pass live letter.
I think it was the live letter before FanFest, like the one a month or whatever ago.
Yeah.
New story quests. New skirmishes. We've got several Lucavi here.
Demazai being one of the most prominent, which I'm excited
Yeah, I
for.
can't remember. Did I get the shot of
Belias, too.
There's a dark Belias going on. Some sort of
It's
dark
not
Belias.
Lunar Belias, guys.
Are we
Is
actually
it Belias or is it Bellius?
Belias.
I say
Would be
Belias.
To be fair, I say
from Belial.
Belias because Spanish phonetics, but I usually go with the flow here.
It's from an actual demon named Belial, and this is just an alteration of that into Belias. So that gives us a clue how to do it.
Mhm.
That will help me remember it.
Yeah, but it's the same. It's the same. It's the same as a Dramelech in the original tactics. It was a Dramelech.
Are people not hearing me? I just heard that I'm not being heard.
Oh.
Not the team. Okay. All right, never mind. She hears me now.
Eh.
So yeah.
Do we sound okay? Just audio check
I
real
mean, you
quick.
sound like yourself. Whether or not you sound like okay is up for debate. I'm kidding.
Yeah, are
Listen,
you
I'm-
okay, man?
I am half robot, just so this room knows.
Look at this lovely
Sounds
lady.
pretty okay to me.
Shemazai.
Hit on her, why don't you?
Another one with a sort of red maskish looking face.
I think that's on purpose for reasons.
That's, to be fair, that's her face. From
It makes my brain go burr. I know.
Well,
It makes my brain go burr too.
It's the. Well, should we just say it?
Say it.
Igeyorm the Martyr, her scion of darkness, is Shemhazai.
Yes.
I wish this meant we were getting more Igiorum, but
Red
we didn't
Mask
get it with
is all I'm
more
saying.
Askians with the others.
I'm
Yeah.
surprised actually that she is a critical engagement.
Same,
So
super
that's,
same.
So this means we're potentially getting the missing spurs and critical engagements, and then there's some that will be happening. Some of them will be happening in the Dalriada.
Yeah, because we
York.
saw Kakul in the Dalriada in the 5.5
We're
trailer.
getting lots of them. We might even see all 12, to be honest.
Yeah, the Death Seraph showing up is going to end me.
I think we're gonna see Death
Yeah.
Seraph at the end of the Dalriada, and I think we're gonna see like 3 or 4 of them on the field, and then
Right.
like 6 to 9 of them in the instance.
Do you
I think
think
it's
the
gonna be
Death
crazy.
Seraph? Do you
If
think
we
Death
get
Seraph?
if we
Go ahead.
get Salira, I just
Calling it now.
Cobron?
Go ahead. Yeah.
So yeah, no, I was just saying. I think it would be really interesting if the Death Seraph was the one who actually destroyed the Dalriada, and then we fought her.
I like it.
well her.
Talk to the storyboarders.
Yep.
So we've got another Final Fantasy VI claw monster here.
Oh no, that's totally brothers from 8.
Check out that that Von chess piece there. We're
So that
totally
was
getting Revenant
clearly
wings.
Turtlenecks?
That claw monster is clearly Garlemald's attempt at engineering dual wielding reapers.
I was gonna say,
Research from Castro
Just
Bounty.
confirmed.
Yeah,
yeah,
Albania.
shares a model or general appearance with
Yeah,
that.
Yeah.
and considering that they have, I think, someone related to Olus Malacina working with the 4th Legion, it's unsurprising that we're going to see things. Actually, it's actually unsurprising we're seeing 12 things because Olus Malacina was in the 12th Legion.
The
Also,
technology.
do we think that's the final paladin relic there?
That's the current law's order, I think.
Current one.
Okay, so we know that'll have one more appearance change after that. Then.
Yes.
Hmm.
But it's hard to say because this bow here. I thought the bow currently looked more like a piece of furniture on your back, to be honest with you.
It kind of does, honestly,
So I
but
don't
it's,
think.
it seems like it's supposed to be some kind of giant, like, crossbow almost.
Yeah, a crossbow
Like
that's
with
like
sideways?
one of the large string instruments.
Well, like you carrying around a damn harp.
No, it's
Nice.
like one of the classical the giant violin that stands up. What's that called?
Yeah, bass
Hello?
or cello.
Cello. Yeah.
Cello. That's it. It looks kind of like a cello.
Amazing.
And
Okay,
then we
music.
have the Ellas in there wearing the Penelo's outfit.
Yes. I hope it would be Penelo's outfit from Revenant Wings or Tactics Advance 2.
Nope.
Sad.
You get the bad one. And here Yoshi P is holding up a picture of the depth of Penelo's character.
It's his daughter.
Wow.
Wow.
We slew Bonnie before we slew Meow. Wow.
I didn't know he swung that
That's his
way.
daughter.
That's rude.
No, it's not. It's fair game.
No, I
It's
meant-
affection.
I meant Penelo, not Bonnie.
I'm so glad I wasn't drinking anything just then.
Yeah.
So
I can show you. Oh, he wears her. Got it.
this is a 2-seater hover bike.
Yeah, both ears.
He's
Right there,
cool.
yeah.
Both years in France. flying motorbike from Tool.
That's definitely going to be the drop from the Savage mode.
Yeah.
I don't want to. And you know what? I didn't want to say it the other night, but for those of you who watched Darling in the Franxx, nope, not saying it anymore.
There's not a
There's no butt
there's not a
handles.
savage mode of Dalriada.
There are no butt handles, but still, that's close enough.
It's just our castrum equivalent.
Oh, okay, fair.
Mm-hmm.
In case you guys wanted some wonderful new outdoorsy
I
housing
want that.
stuff.
Oh, see, I want that gazebo to come up in Hildebrand
It's
again.
really nice. Is it just the
Wow.
gazebo or the
No, the
little
trees.
Two
bushes,
bushes,
or-
the tree, and the gazebo. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really
like the
wish
tree,
we
too.
had more like actual land space in
Like-
housing because I want to put so many trees and stuff, but we have a medium and our yard is just like
I think audio cut out.
a landing strip. Did audio cut out?
No, I could hear you, but we're in
Okay.
Discord, and I have a spy
me.
behind me. She says she can hear us.
Okay. Yeah, I thought I heard Ayumi lagging, so
Okay.
That was probably me.
Have you considered not lagging?
Resistance
wish.
Honors. I guess
Be
they're
like, shut up,
adding-
Neil. You got no room to talk.
Are they adding a new system on top of the current system so that it
Yes.
focuses
Yes,
you into
the
a
honor
bit?
system.
Can you
yeah,
guys
so
touch
it's
on that?
essentially an overleveling system
Oh, I like
where
that.
you can increase your stats after capping your rank.
So you don't
And
have to stop
during
playing.
during the previous live letter, Yoshi P was saying that with this system, you'll be able to hit like absolutely ridiculous numbers, like probably Eureka ridiculous numbers.
Oh God.
Yeah.
That sounds
This is why
delightful.
we're getting a stat squish right here.
But they made this. It's their fault.
Right.
Looking
Their
forward
fault.
to,
Oh, I didn't notice the name of the 3 buffs though when I was watching
Fortitude,
yesterday.
Valor, soccer,
I did.
Sucker. I said soccer.
I said sun, huh? I see.
Uh-huh.
You could say they're being very brilliant.
They're so subtle, aren't they?
just sprinkling little things everywhere.
You spell subtly like this.
It even has a little sun on the icon. I see that now.
Mm-hmm.
Fuckers.
Resistance honors unlocked upon reaching resistance 25. Sufficient metal may be used to acquire proofs of metal. Proofs of metal can be exchanged for 3 types of honors that increase attributes in Save the Queen areas. Son of Fortitude for HP, Son of Valor for damage, and Son of Succor for healing.
Yeah, no one's going to use the healing one.
It is interesting. I don't see any like numbers ticking down, so they may be a permanent thing. I have no idea.
I actually,
Yeah, they should be. It's kind of like a mix between the merit system in Final Fantasy XI and just various overleveling systems where you boost your character permanently
Makes
when you're
sense.
capped.
final step in resistance weapon upgrades. So new relic, final step. It'll be available as soon as you unlock Zadnor in the 5.5 storyline. Stats will be better than Eden's Promise Savage. So this is that part of the expansion where that relic really hits hard. So if you want one, definitely go for it. It says that the upgrading further weapons will differ. That usually means easier.
So, yes, and I fully expect this stage to be the worst one to date. I'm expecting something long and grindy.
Especially because we have so much time.
Exactly.
Will it be 90 circus towers and only circus tower?
Oh God, no! Please,
No, make it Labyrinth of the Ancients and really
Give us-
make people suffer.
Oh,
please
no.
give us just some variety. I would love some more
No.
variety.
It changes every day.
You have to clear floor 200 of
You
Palace of the
do
Dead.
hate
Solo.
That's the one.
200 Palace of the Deads, and they all have to be level 200.
Oh,
God.
Lord.
And you have to have it a level 99 either weapon.
I wouldn't be surprised if we get a fucking light stage, honestly.
On the plus, yeah, we probably will. On the
Even
plus
light
side,
stage was
our terrible suggestions will be worse than what they do, probably.
even the
Probably.
light stage was bad.
So
was
regarding the
decent.
difficulty, though, Yoshi P was reading the comments around that section. And people are like, well, how difficult is difficult? Because a lot of people feel that difficult or grindy can't get worse than what it is now, which to them I say, ha ha ha.
Have you ever played an older
Realm
MMO?
Reborn or Heavensward Relics.
Or like any
But-
older MMOs?
Yeah, that too. But aside from that, he was just being very coy about it and be like, oh, well, you'll just have to play and find out. Which never bodes well when it comes to Yoshi P.
No, it doesn't.
He said something like, just grind it slowly, and everybody's like, no.
Yeah, no, we're gonna blitz that.
Yeah.
That's ultimately your choice, and people want their gear. But
I mean, my hope personally is that the Dalriada will be one of the options for whatever that grindy step is.
sure. I'd be happy
Because
with that.
we really need them to make sure that those instances, if they're important to the story, have an incentive to continue going in them. Otherwise, we end up with a castrum situation again.
Yep.
Unfortunately, they seem to be continually having to learn the same lesson. Like,
It's
remember
unfortunate.
with Balaja Citadel, it was like the coins issue. There weren't enough rewards to get people to want to go in, and so you would have like 18 people sign up, and you need 35 to clear, and it would just never happen.
Yeah, you can do it 24.
You can, but for months
You can do it
difficult
with
for
less
players to get
now.
it.
Mhm.
You can actually do it with less now. You can actually do castrum with around 16 to 18 people now because of Echo.
Yes.
But you have to be pretty on point, because if you're going in with a small number of people, the very first boss is by far the most difficult part.
Mm-hmm.
Well, moving along, I remember him discussing this. Apparently, there have been unequal desynthesis rewards from trials in the past, and on top of that, he said that there was no internal logic as to why or when. It was just kind of whatever they felt like when they designed the encounter. So they're adding, they're making sure that, I guess, all of the desynthesis from various fights will give you the crafting material.
That just strikes me as some kind of managerial oversight.
Right.
Everything
Yeah,
that's got going on.
It was very random which ones were working properly, quote unquote, and which ones weren't. Like Byakko and Warrior of Light were not working properly, but
Mhm.
Panda and Hades were, with like their various parts or a site or whatever.
It certainly seems like it was just a lack of communication somewhere, where some groups were like, well, of course we need this, and other groups were like, wait, we need to add this? Oh. I'm glad they're going to make something consistent on it. I've desynthesized a lot of Byakko weapons and had no idea that I thought I just had bad luck.
Yeah, it wasn't luck, apparently.
Well, and it's good to know. I can feel a little less frustrated by that, and I'm glad that they're doing a concerted directive going forward.
They were also very appreciative that it was the players that actually like figured this out themselves and then directed them to like, hey, this is a problem, we need to fix it.
And bless a team that listens to the players,
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, for real.
Absolutely.
especially for quality of life stuff. Obviously, story has to be what it is.
Yep. So they gave us a roadmap.
Give me a moment. Sorry.
Yeah, they said they were going to make a point of getting it out with 5.55 if at all possible.
I am thrilled that the 15 event is coming back. There's a lot of new players.
You know
Some
what?
of my
Same.
good friends are new, and they didn't get an opportunity to do that, and they've heard a lot about it. And some people, like my wife, didn't get a chance to get the music from the event, so they're
Yeah.
very happy.
I also like how there's literally every month from the end of May through September, there's always something to do. October, I suspect that they are going to have press events and a kind of media tour as best they can, if COVID hasn't been solved by then. And then November, of course, is Endwalker.
Yeah, the only rough point is going to be June to August, it looks like.
Yeah,
'cause
going through
those
the
are
summer.
just minor adjustment patches. They're not really doing anything else with those. I was hoping that we were going to see the story split into maybe 3 or 4 parts, but they're going to release all of it with 5.5.
Fortunately, there are plenty of other Square Enix properties to consume if you get bored, so...
Nier!
Exactly. There's lots.
Go play Nier right now.
There's a lot
Drakengard.
to do. There's lots of things we can do to take a break and like prepare for when Endwalker owns our existences.
Speaking of that, if anyone is interested in trying out 11, it is $10 for all of it right now.
Yes. I
I
highly
picked up my
game.
recommend playing 11 if you enjoy story-based games. There is obviously some level of grind involved in getting to max level, but it's nowhere near as bad as it used to be. And once you get past the lack of voice acting, and if you can deal with the very minimalistic UI, it is an absolutely fantastic game for story.
I actually considered that, and I may have to ask you for guidance if I do try it.
Speaking personally here, I missed the boat on 11. I was playing a ton of Morrowind, and
Oh my God.
I know. I just didn't play it, and when I got back to it, it already felt dated to the point where I couldn't figure out simple things like how to talk to people.
Yeah, and
And-
it was definitely undone a bit by having to compete with things like WoW at the time. It really took a lot of attention away from it.
But
I
had
actually still own, I still have it, the original hard drive for the PS2 that you had to install yourself.
Wow.
Oh,
And
Wow.
it's a package. It's still in the package. And the copy of 11 for that. I also own the PC copy of 11 packaged with the first expansion, Chains of Promethea. I still have that in the package too. I got it late, very late, and I didn't have anyone that played with it. So
Chains of
Yeah,
Promethea
so
is one of my
speaking
favorite
of-
stories in a game
Okay.
ever. Go ahead, Cup.
So yeah, no. On topic of speaking of missing the boat in Final Fantasy XI, I played it when it came out here in the States, and one of my most vivid memories was taking the boat from somewhere to somewhere. I don't remember where. It was like in 2004. And I remember there were these pugils that would come out of the water and attack the boat and whatever. And I remember falling off the boat and dying. And it
jeez.
took me like a week to get a GM to fish my body out of the water and put it somewhere where I could actually get it.
So here's the important question I have. Did you start in Windurst?
I did.
Okay, so you would have been taking the boat from Mara to Selbina most likely so that you could go level in Valkyrim Dunes at level 10.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And then I made another character that started in Bastock because I realized I made a mistake and started in Windhurst.
Yeah, starting in Windurst, like I like Windurst aside from all the Taru that are just
Mhm.
everywhere. But
tell us how you really
it's just so separated from everything else as a
I
starting
don't even know what
city.
the world looks like. I just remember Sandoria was in the ass end of I don't know where.
Yeah, like Sandoria and Bastock were like two of the best places to start because they had semi-direct access to the level 10 starting area. Because taking the boat from Mara to Selbina was really dangerous because aside from the fact that boats in 11 just have, random mob attacks, there's also randomized pirate attacks. And if your boat gets attacked by pirates, those are like level 60 something enemies. So if you're standing on the boat as like a level 10, you're just absolutely screwed because already anything that's like 10 levels above you can probably one-shot you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Glad they thought of that.
I mean, I really loved it. It was really a cool thing because like you would see also higher level players taking the boats and you would see people fishing off of the boats because there were certain fish you could only get off the boat routes. But there was like rare monster spawns, notorious monsters, which anyone that's played Eureka will recognize the term notorious monsters.
Mm-hmm.
But there were different ones that would spawn on the different boat routes. So you'd have high level people running those routes trying to get those rare spawns too. So it was a really neat social experience, and it's something that I was really hoping that 14 would have when I came to 14. And they kind of almost sort of did, but not really in 1.0. And then, now we don't even really use the airships, so I'm just kind of like, aw. But on the other hand, riding a boat or an airship for 20 minutes of your game time is also not the best system.
No.
True that.
I'm on the side of the fence where even though I understand it sucks and is boring, sense of travel is one of the key elements of immersion in a world. And so if you want to feel like you're part of the world as opposed to feeling like you're playing a game, you need those things. You need the 20-minute flight path from one side of the continent to the other. You need to be able to have to walk places. Flying impacts immersion as well, and it's just it's a huge discussion. But I miss having ferries, to be honest.
Right. I've played lots of older MMOs, like a lot, like all the way back to Ultima Online, and I do kind of miss a lot of those times. Like even in just a little thing like WoW, like getting on a boat and having to actually plan your travel time and what you're actually going to be doing. You don't just like willy-nilly teleport to an Aetheryte. You have to actually like plan out what you're doing. There's a certain sense of scale that's lost in this game because of that. But I also like, I don't necessarily miss that as much when it took like so much more time to do anything or go anywhere either. Like there's a give and take in that balance.
Absolutely.
So let's actually, since we're about at our halfway point, let's actually move on to the keynote.
Sure. With one final ad, Ishikawa during the live letter mentioned that although none of the quest lines are as integral as Crystal Tower was to Shadowbringers, she listed off just about everything in the game. She listed off all the job quests, the main story, all the crafting
all
quests,
the raids.
all the raids. It was crazy. She just kept going, and I was just laughing. But
yeah, people asked her
specifically,
to specify one or two, and she was like, "Boy, Binding Coils of Bahamut and Omega are what you should play, but like really, you should play everything."
yeah.
Yeah.
People who know exactly what's going on will enjoy Endwalker more. So that was her key point. But specifically, if you're low on time, she recommends doing Binding Coils to learn about the Leviers, and then Omega Raids to learn about how Omega is linked to the Dragonkin.
I hope we're finally going to get an answer about how Hydaelyn started the war between Omega and the Dragonstar. It's in the artwork. I swear
Isn't
it
this
happened.
intergalactic warfare, like... Well, anyway.
Galactic warfare.
Watches.
Yes.
If you have lots of money, buy a watch. Look at this thing.
So, I want to talk about this.
Okay,
So
please.
stay here. So I have this theory about how the Unsundered escaped was that Azam like yeeted them forward in time. Same spell Luis Wa used at Cardinal Flats on the Warrior of Light. And when I saw this, I noticed the symbol of Azam appears on the crown of the watch, and I immediately thought about that and was like, is this a confirmation of Azam not only being able to draw people to themselves, but push them away
in time?
Yeah.
Azam really strikes me as a master of teleportation magic in every sense, teleporting through time and space, which is just amazing.
I mean, it would be actually fitting. Considering
I really want one of those.
The watches.
Yeah.
400, almost $500.
Well,
yeah,
listen.
not in my budget.
Nope.
Well, if that's not in your budget, how about this?
I think it's alright.
Custom Stratocaster.
You know what is in my budget? The in-game one.
It's $3,500.
Same.
It's got like redwood in it.
I want to address Game Lore Geek. I think that Logrif was the original time mage, but I think Azam adapted some of her stuff for themselves.
Be surprised if multiple members of the Convocation, like Nabrialis,
Nabrialis has very good time magic.
Yeah, and that they all kind of had a little bit of ability in that regard.
Loving that art. They said if you see this game in music magazines, don't be surprised.
Right. Pistola fans really got fed well by this.
Yep.
And they have an in-game one.
Right.
Yeah.
For all of those people who like to perform, perhaps.
That'd be me. Hi. I actually play at a RP Tavern on Tuesdays.
And a furnishing. Home furnishing for you musicians out there.
Yeah.
How does one obtain that?
Artwork. Night's Blessed.
I want that artwork.
These I was really impressed with. If you go to their website and actually look at these statues, like zoomed in.
They're very well detailed. It looks like
it's pretty crazy.
they seem to be missing someone though.
They are, aren't they?
Very
Very,
conspicuously missing.
He was copious in his absence.
Suspicious.
He'll be released sometime next year.
Yeah, they're gonna probably like pull something, and then it's gonna be like merch for him for days to capitalize on his popularity.
They're not stupid. They know he's just a money printer.
Yeah,
Yes.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, the snap
yes.
emote was proof of that.
Yes.
They're just waiting for that end of year fiscal quarter right now.
Right.
Please fund our new server cluster.
Opens
I'm
my
pretty
wallet.
sure that's
Before
oh Christ.
Yogotaro deletes it.
Oh look, forbidden job stones.
They look delicious.
They
I
are on
will
the US
say-
site now.
Sorry.
I will say that the job stones looked so much better when Yoshi P showed them on stage. Like, I really don't like their official photo of them. They look kind of dull in the photo and flat, but they're very, very shiny and sparkly if you actually see him hold them in the PLL.
They're also reasonably priced.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Unless
also
you're like
Blue
me and want all 18 of them.
Right. I want to get my
Oh,
favorite
Max.
job. Black Mage, Astrologian, Paladin, exactly.
I
I'm
just
a
want
white
more
mage
pins.
run through.
Yeah, so these are magnets.
Put them on your fridge.
Do you think they will add the Reaper and the Sage ones?
Probably.
Yeah,
it's
probably.
likely.
Actually.
If they have Blue Mage, they'll have Reaper and Sage. Anyway, I guess that's enough merch, but I'll scroll through it.
So much for Loot Cave.
How about this?
Rip.
You want to drink wine out of your favorite?
So I was really happy to
Yes.
see this, but I was also very disappointed that they did not have Why Not included in there. And then I realized it's because she's using hers.
Oh,
Or coffee, you know.
You could do anything with that. Like, people were making jokes about how like whichever cup you drink out of, you're a top, a bottom, or a switch.
Wow.
that doesn't seem like it makes logical sense, but I dig it.
Meanwhile, me doing stupid jokes like, if these are the three on Sunder, if you drop them, they don't shatter.
That's a good one too.
Damn it, you took that one from me. I'm going to charge for that one.
Do not sunder.
You guys want a glow stick? It's in Japan only.
No. Keep going.
That's it. That's all we got for this part.
Yep. So
All right, good.
back to the top.
Keynote time.
Reaper.
Back to the real reason why you guys are here.
Right.
This was supposed to be the quick one.
Well, we discussed Reaper earlier.
Yeah, we derailed on to Reaper for like half an hour.
Mm-hmm.
We do that.
We derail a lot.
They reminded us that the theme was Dawn to Dawn.
Yes. Do we want to start off by playing the trailer here?
Sure.
Yes.
Go for
Yeah,
it.
we should probably start trailer.
Any excuse to listen to that beautiful music in the Charlene review.
Oh my god, right?
God.
Even though it's awful.
Well, awful.
You are just...
awful in the sense of who's probably singing it, yeah.
Yes.
I
And how
know.
you will be beholden to our hope, not yours.
No, you'll see.
Speak the magic word and follow our will.
All right, I'm gonna hit play. Sorry, guys. Hold on.
Oh, good.
There we go. I had it up earlier.
fabric of the star had begun to fray, its land rent by tooth and claw.
You know. And I've had enough of this rot. Come on!
As the chaos spread, the star seemed doomed to unravel, and yet... there were those who stood in defiance of that fate. The hour is come, Vritra. It's all or nothing.
I love this part.
Will our heroes deign to play their part? You took your time. 'Tis as we feared. The respite afforded this land was but fleeting. The end draweth nigh.
Here we go.
I knew it. The star still has secrets.
Amanda did such a good job.
Take care, my friend.
Charlian would keep its counsel while the world is lost to ruin.
It would. Come what may, we shall live on. We must.
Do as you must, then. But we scions will fight. Until the heavens fall. Until our last breath.
I never get
Great
that.
trailer.
That is an amazing trailer, and I really do think they might have switched up some of the lyrics, especially at the beginning.
And Brian.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I
love
agree.
that one. Soldier really made me laugh there, but I couldn't find the emote. Warrior of Light really put it in the first beast's blowhole.
Oh boy.
Got him.
So I think we should go through the trailer a little bit slowly now and with the sound turned off so that we don't get our ears wrecked. But there's some interesting things that I've noticed after watching the trailer too many times. We'll just go with too many times.
If you got it at 75, let me know.
Well, it's showing the right, stream's delayed, isn't it, Derp? Go to the section where they first show Thavner. It's right after Alice and Alphino are fighting.
I thought it wasn't. Let me see. Yeah, it goes into Estinian. And then...
Yeah, this is Thavner because you see the teletower.
This is oh, I see.
And you see
This
the
is absolutely
You
Thavner.
can see the large
Yeah, it is. I
crystal
see the
rock
crystal.
formation.
Yeah.
And the dancer statue that they showed earlier.
Right.
Yes, so this, if you can pause where it's showing the crystal and the tower in the same shot, that'd be good. And, so, blue fire falling from the sky was the first thing that really threw me off.
And it crystallizes at the bottom when it hits the ground.
Yeah, which that's very unfinal days of you, Fan Daniel. Whatever's going on there.
See, I think that's Aether coming out from the planet.
That's what I'm wondering, is I'm wondering if something goes like horribly, horribly wrong with the Ethereal Sea. Because the sky isn't completely consistent with the rain of fire that we're used to seeing.
It's rather inverse, yeah.
It fits because this is the part, the Heavensward part, and I don't know if it's crystal or ice, but it fits because it's, Heavensward.
Yeah, there is a section a little bit ahead of this where you can actually see one of the crystals filling up most of the screen.
And I also want to point out that thematically, the colors that we see here are very blue, like they were in Heavensward. And when Stormblood is playing, they are very red.
Yes.
It does look very icy to me.
Yeah, it does look like ice.
It could just be elemental skewing or something going crazy, perhaps.
Yeah, it could be. Though we also know that ice and light aren't that far removed from each other in the elemental what's it at this point. So.
Ice is indeed the most umbral element by nature.
Yes.
So it could very well be a why not both situation with how screwed things appear to be.
Yep.
Look at the tentacle ladies.
I was really expecting you to say tentacle waifus for some reason.
Waifus, wow.
Ani?
I mean,
that's the cloud of darkness. I saved that only for her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, these are sword hair lady, Califosteri.
Yeah, we saw these in Amarat.
There's only
Amarat
one mob in Amarat. That's the Terminus Idolizer. That's only one in the whole of Amarat, and here we have
And Eureka Animos, one of the Notorious, is one of these as well.
Yeah, and there's a Sin Eater version of this model that is a hunt in Norvrant.
Indeed.
There goes Virtra.
I still can't decide if
the youngest
Virtra
of the brood
is coming out of the hole in the sky and made the hole in the sky.
Yeah,
or...
I want to talk about that real quick.
I too am trying to figure that out. Considering that lightning is opposed to ice on the elemental wheel, not that one is weak to the other, but that they're on the opposite poles, I feel like it's not coincidence.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is that because that hole in the sky that opened up? Is that due to the wings? Because if so, that's a hell of a gust. If not, what is that?
Could be like the way
I
they're
know it
showing
went
lightning
black, I'm just
behind.
checking something.
The way they're showing lightning behind. I mean, I wonder if there's some association there.
They don't pull
Vritra
up
is
the-
associated with the story of Indra in the Vedas. So Indra being the lightning
Indeed.
deity,
Okay.
it would make sense that he's the lightning dragon.
At the same time, lightning is the closest element to the darkness pole in.
Yeah, that's what I was saying by saying it was opposed to ice.
Sorry.
No, you're good. It is indeed aligned with darkness in Final Fantasy. And I have to say, I won't be shocked if he's tied to lightning.
Yeah, I think it's the lightning brood
Shock?
dragon.
It's a pun.
Shocking.
I won't be shocked.
Can we rewatch
Okay,
this Stardiver,
Neela.
please?
Oh, that's
Yeah,
so
I always
good.
looked this
I'm
good.
pulling up something on my end to check while we're also on the topic of cloud
So-
holes.
I do want to point out that Estinian's spear or lance has changed.
It's colored differently. It looks
Yeah.
like
I'm
It's
guessing
not as
maybe
organic anymore.
but that could be
Maybe
the texture
it's-
updates.
Well, it's also not got a blood stain on it.
I would have to go back and do the solo duty with him in 5.1 to get a good look at it, because I don't remember what it looked like.
I was actually
So-
going to mention, Soldier, that the lightning in his spear may be him channeling Vertra's power, if Vertra is the dragon of lightning. Since
Oh, God.
And while they spell it VRTRA, according to the Hindi transliteration, he does pronounce it Vritra.
I'm gonna trigger you near people now. It's they made a pact.
Oh, God.
Well, look at the lightning and the Stardiver together.
It's so good. So, Fal, I have a link for you in
Happy to.
DMs for you to
At least it's
open
not a red
and-
dragon.
God, that's awesome. It's not
I
your
don't know if
standard-
you heard me,
I
Fal.
did hear you. It's not your standard three glyph Stardiver, is it? Hold on.
No, it's not at all.
probably-
Stardiver has a flat circle. Stardiver has a flat circle and then a simple tunnel thing. This has much more elaborate thing. A much more elaborate aspect.
That's either the-
I see what you mean.
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
either
a
the level
mortal
90
coil,
ability or an
something called-
LE3.
Yeah.
If
That'd
it's
be
not
crazy.
special to him.
So you want to watch this intro?
Just a little bit from the timestamp in regards to the cloud hole in the trailer. Because it's what I think the cloud hole is referencing. Because they do like to mix and match elements in the CGI trailers in a way that's not necessarily entirely accurate to the canon events of the MSQ.
Yeah, as a
Is this
cosplayer,
gonna
that's
be the
really
style?
annoying.
Freaking ass.
Not related.
YouTube, so
Oh, I see what you mean.
yeah, that was the first thing I thought, but all indications I'm seeing seem to be that Vritra is what's coming through there.
It is, but I'm also kind of wondering if they're pulling their usual trailer bullshit.
I'm sure they're doing like at least visual parallels at a minimum. That seems an entirely fair guess.
You can switch back to the trailer file.
I think from now on going to pronounce the dragon's name in my usual phonetics. It's way easier than trying to pronounce it like in English. Vritra.
Vritra.
Well, that's more accurate to the Hindi as well, as far as I know. Don't actually speak it.
This means we only
I
have
love
one
that
dragon.
transition.
It's
so
a very good
much.
transition.
There you go, Ban Daniel. EBDB.
God damn it. God, I love the Geiger aesthetic.
All the like glowing fire, whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
glowing eggs.
Alien design.
In case you hadn't noticed the glowing
What?
eggs, you're welcome.
That throne looks organic as fuck. Just
It
gonna
does.
say it.
Yeah, it's very mahogany.
Look at the sneer here. He's sneering.
Yeah. His expressions in this trailer are so good.
They're so subtle, but they're very,
Tancred!
You were gonna die.
I'm also expecting that.
Maybe you
almost-
too.
I'm almost expecting that the 3 VAs that were in the FanFest last night may be the only quote-unquote Scions that survive at this point. Who knows?
Very cute that it would be those two plus a new one that would survive.
Exactly.
What a twist that would be.
Yes, it would. So pause on the statue here.
Yeah, the statue of Thaliak, I pointed out, I think it was Senila last night, the hairstyle reminded me of a certain Ansander Asian.
Also, I like the Thaliak gem on the
Yeah, it's got a little-
armband.
insignia there. It's great.
Mhm.
Yes.
There it is.
So
Yep.
my dumbass thought that this was a female statue at first, but then I saw the exposed titty and I was like, oh, hello.
I saw it 3 times before I figured it out. It's just very pretty.
Yes. My like crackpot theory going into Endwalker or into 5.55, depending on how things progress, is that the character at the top of the key art could be Thaliak, because there's just something about the vibe of like the facial structure and the hairstyle that I'm like, that's very similar.
I
It
think
gives me-
I
it
still
gives-
think it's Vana.
It also gives me a lot of Athena vibes. I feel like they might have put Thaliak, Vana, and Athena into a blender and like
Yes.
Could be.
And there's nothing to say that Vana didn't say, hey, you should worship Thaliak, and Thaliak looks like me.
Also, I want that statue for my room.
yeah.
Also, I want to point out the color scheme here. It's the Heidelin color scheme. You've got the teals and blues in the water, and the white and gold on the outfits and the city
Yeah.
structures.
Yes.
So
So
that's
almost
what makes me
like-
think this is Heidelin's city.
Yeah, Heidelin built her own Athens essentially,
Mhm.
and probably like met Nuremkef and the others
Gor-
who originally came here and built this city and was like, "We're going to build a paradise."
Absolutely
Yeah.
gorgeous etherite. Also
Yeah.
has smooth spots instead of almost being all plains like the other ones we've seen.
Also, the bars in the spiral.
Mhm.
Yeah, those are Amorath spires.
It reminded me a lot of the art in Academia Anadir's garden,
mhm.
certainly.
Yes, that too.
Yeah, this Aetherite broke my brain on so many levels when we got the trailer, because I was like, wow, that is extremely different for one.
We're going to
Yeah.
attune to that thing one day.
And see-
weird too,
Stabnir
because
have the same
lore-wise-
aetherite?
Lore-wise,
Yes.
doesn't Charlene produce all of the
No.
Aetherites that we
They
see?
do. Not the ones in the east, but all of the ones that we see in Eorzea are Charlene
Yeah.
produced, meaning they didn't give us the good Aetherites because they wanted to put a back door in so they could shut them all down if we got out of hand.
Fafnir's aetherite, the one we see in the city walkthrough, is like a
Yes.
normal Eorzean aetherite, except it has some fancy pennants on it.
Yes.
Someone asked.
I thought I saw that, yeah.
It's so pretty.
So turn left to get to the library. Remember that.
That
And then go
building,
really far
That
down.
library, this library, the colors are Amorath building insides. Absolutely.
it's Google Library on crack.
Do y'all know how mad I'm going to be if there's no interactable books to read on any of the shelves?
Remember, avoid the groundskeeper and watch out for the restricted section. Use the invisibility cloak.
Some of the,
I will
And
smack you.
some of the books have teeth.
I have something to add that's
I
obvious.
mean,
but
we do have books with teeth.
Yeah,
That's
we have
true.
a few things to say here.
I have something to add that's obvious, but if you look at the book, the key icon is an eye, and it looks like a red Allegan eye. So they have
Mhm.
it looks like
they
it's
have
from
some
Yu-Gi-Oh,
dirt-
guys.
They have some dirt on this.
It also reminds me of those eyes that we were seeing in the art in Radzet Han in on
Yeah.
the buildings in the temples.
The color, however, is like precise match here for Graha's.
It
It's
is,
almost
and
exactly.
and I don't think it's a coincidence that they go straight
Mhm.
cut from the book to his eyes.
It's-
I'll
it's-
agree.
Excuse, is it there's?
I wonder how he got in there.
Is it there some sort of pattern in Graha's irises?
They added like the vein vessel look of natural eyes there. Yes, they did it
Yeah.
on all of them. That
Very
I
much
yeah.
mimics what cats actually have going on with their eyes a bit.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as far as the book is concerned, it was making my brain itch because I felt like it was familiar.
Mm-hmm.
So I went and flipped through the Eorzean Encyclopedia too at all the relic weapons and stuff, and there's not a match for it. So I don't know why this book is making my brain itch so bad.
It's not a match. Let me say it's not a match, but this reminds me that the 50 Summoner Relic has a big ol' eye on the cover too.
Mm.
What's that?
That one's
Apocalypse Saga?
Apocalypse, right?
Yeah. It's a yellow eye. It's much larger, but similar.
Yeah, that's the one that I was kind of thinking it could be, which, I mean,
Thematic.
I was
like it, but look at the
wondering
back.
if, like, maybe it was going to be, like, the real version of that, because basically all of our relic weapons are just, they're copies, not the actual original.
Indeed. There's someone's attempt to recreate them from memory.
Yeah. What are you looking for, Fao?
Nothing. I imagine seeing an actual book somewhere.
Ah. I was hoping it was Apocalypse because of the little lore snippet in the Eorzean Encyclopedia, which I should probably grab.
You should grab that and we can share it. That's a nice tidbit.
Yeah, 1 second. Because I can just read it once I find the page again.
Is there anyone in there with him, or is he the only one? It looked like he was the only one.
Isn't some sort of restricted area on his own?
In a very restricted area, yes.
I mean, he is an Archon. Maybe he's allowed in. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little weird. Like, they did mention with Kryl that, like, Baldessians still have a little bit of prestige in Charlian, even though their numbers have dwindled.
The mark of the Archon, yeah.
All right,
So,
so
like-
for Apocalypse, the little blurb in the Eorzean Encyclopedia 2 is a first-hand account of the world's end penned by a nameless vagabond claiming to have journeyed far into the future upon entering a secret chamber in the Crystal Tower. Its ciphered script has broken the spirit of more than one weak-willed reader. A lone entry in a compendium of ancient weaponry suggests that the grimoire may have been wielded by one of the Zodiac Braves, though as of yet, additional works that might corroborate the claim have eluded discovery.
I wanna point out that I was in an in-game wedding when someone pointed this out, and I couldn't focus.
How did I miss that?
Yeah. Bon pointed this out, and I was like, okay, no, yeah, I'm sorry to everyone here, but I have to look things up.
I wonder, actually, I'm trying to remember the name of the people who broke away from Charlian when they pulled out, like Louis Swan and company.
Yeah, when they left the colony.
Circle of Knowing?
Yeah, that sounds right. The Circle of Knowing. I wonder if Graha wasn't technically part of that, and so if he's not like on the shit list, as it were, and so he can get access, maybe.
So I believe Graha was technically part of Rambros.
Yeah, he was with Noah.
Which they all
that-
kind of
that
like merged together after the fact, after 1.0
They
transition to
basically-
2.0.
But they may not have gotten tarred with the same brush.
Rambros is the Sons of Saint Konak, and that's basically many kinds of people. Graha is a student of Baldessian, but I guess he was working with the Sons of Saint Konak.
You said you had something to add, Neela?
That was the thing I had to add.
Okay. Just making sure.
Yeah, no, appreciate it. The veils are like,
I really hope they let us wear those clothes. They look amazing. Those
It's funny that Charlene has all this knowledge, doesn't have the map uncovered.
Yeah, that was really weird to me.
They knew Yestola was going to try and look at it, so they brought out the old version.
It's so odd that they still haven't uncovered Ilsabard on the map. Like, we know we're going to Garlemald, so why?
Let's point out the center.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Pause.
Yeah, but
on the spiral.
And when Estola walks away, she walks right into the benches behind her.
What? I have to.
Don't ruin her
Still
dramatic
blind.
moment.
Give me a moment. What the hell are the forums people hats?
That's what I said. They're wearing veils. There's veils in front of them.
Okay.
It's very mask-like. If you look at the start of this, you'll get to see the veil move when one guy turns his head.
Mhm.
Okay.
I swear it's a special version of the map that doesn't have the info that they don't want her to have.
Right.
It's like a top secret project. They have everything covered up that they don't want other people to see.
Precisely.
Like the veil.
They have KFC buckets on their heads.
Yeah,
I wonder.
Mhm.
I gotta wonder how friendly the Charlayans are going to be to us when we find
Hostile.
They're going to be like, "No, we can't talk to you. We can't tell you anything. We can't even do business with you. Get out."
If you back up to the point where it actually transitions from the last scene to this one, you can see the veil much better. Also, this was a very nice, badass moment for Y'shtola. This was very solid.
Yeah, it was.
It was. I enjoyed it.
All right, you can see the Rogan there and the fellow. Watch he
Oh
turns his head.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a veil over his face on top of that hat. It's
Mhm.
very transparent, but it's there.
Yeah.
Very
It's
ancient
giving
to
me
hide
the
your face.
vibes of the tank headpiece from Heroes Gauntlet, just not goth.
Yeah.
I wonder if these are supposed to be like an actual democracy or some other kind of government.
No, it's a venocracy.
Well, I mean, you can certainly like have a secret dictator, probably.
Oh,
Why
that
settle
scene
for a
right
dictator
there.
when you can have a god?
Exactly.
That
Okay,
moment.
when we
God.
get the
That
top
moment-
down
Careful
view
not to
of the
talk over
floor.
each other, please. Thank you.
Sorry.
Yeah, let me moderate, damn it. So when it gets to the top down view of the spiral, please pause there. And then of course I have to wait for the stream to catch up.
Of course. How about that clasp on her dress?
This outfit looks really good in the CG.
God, it really does.
Okay, we're there.
There we go. So how many seats are in that very central part of the spiral?
The right number.
Wow, 14.
Mhm.
Is Vana making a new
13 in the speaker. That's the right number.
right?
13 in the
Yep.
speaker, yep.
They're
Yeah,
making
and
a convocation.
Grr.
I wonder
Probably some
then.
kind of inner circle thing.
I have to wonder then, who are these other people? Are they working for them?
Well,
The
they,
black
are
masks.
forum members.
They're all
So
forum
the
members.
forum is 99 members.
Yep.
But notice how the inner circle is detached from the rest of it.
precisely.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I've learned
It's
so
kind
much
of
about
weird.
this.
It's kind of weird that the 99 is a really weird number because it's kind of like someone's missing, like the
99
hidden
Charlians
member.
on the wall. 99 Charlians.
As we sing, as we dance through the city, torching everything. I mean,
Yes.
I don't know,
One
what
down.
did you say
No,
last
I
night?
would never do that.
it's a beautiful city.
Soldiers freaking out.
They're probably sitting in that giant building at the back of Charlie and not the library as well.
I mean, let's be real though. Charlian would be really pretty in red.
Absolutely.
I agree.
We should paint it red as Reaper.
We should.
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes.
Namazu.
Oh yeah, I agree with Soldier 100%. Vana is trying to make her own convocation, and Charlian is her Amarot.
I also
Has
agree.
tried, did succeed.
Yeah.
I agree with Vix with Game Lore Geek here that it's 99 minus 1 with the hidden member being possibly maybe Vana in the shadows.
I got to remember also that Silvestri from the Astrologian Quest is probably in one of those veils right there.
It's
It's a gun scythe, by the way.
Yeah, it has a gun in it.
Mm-hmm.
And it has a little Garlean logo on there that I didn't notice before.
Yep.
He's gonna ride it across Garlemald.
I bet we're
My
going to be able
question
to.
is,
Wah.
Who had this before him?
It is
Yes.
old-fashioned, is it not?
They get this from, did they get it from Solus's closet?
Yes, Data, we Ruby.
I was gonna say we don't know, to my knowledge, what weapon Hades might have, Solus might have wielded when he was a legatus.
Do you think he
Yeah,
was
that's true,
wielding
too.
this thing? Because
Smurf.
I'm not sure, because Daniel actually calls the
Oh.
weapon archaic. And for me, archaic means...
It just stepped into the Monster Hunter world.
I mean, Solus, from what we know, was a marksman, probably, right?
Yeah.
But let me posit this. There's a lot of visible mechanical and actual metal parts there. What if the scythe has just been corrupted by the Geiger parasite, too?
That had also occurred to me. Like Fandaniel's like, "Hey, let me ramp up your weapon for you, your radiant."
Have the relic
Yeah,
version.
exactly.
God.
I mean,
Gunhammer. But let me fix that for you.
If we're able to get that for the Reaper, like we can actually get that site.
Yeah, that would be really cool, Glamour. Though, like, the FF11 nerd in me is probably going to have to stick with the pre-order.
Xenos' new
Ooh, dreamy.
looks quite interesting.
Didn't soldiers say it looks like the old concept art for Vincent from 7?
Yeah.
I love these gloves. Like, even
Also,
in the first
take-
trailer, I was just blown away by the texture.
Also, please take a moment to notice that he looks quite pleased.
Oh, he's super happy. He's got his moon
He's
eyes on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The pattern in the embroidery on his pauldrons is bugging me after running Crystal Tower last night. That's really
Back up a
similar to
bit.
some of the Charlene, or not Charlene, the Allegan decor that we see in there.
Just a thing.
He's got a necklace.
Yeah, he does.
He's got a dark necklace.
Looks
He
like kind of
also
like
has
Purple
a,
necklace.
looks like a Hearthstone a little bit.
he also has a
Like a
freckle on his
tear-shaped.
chest next to the necklace.
Yeah, he does.
Oh,
Yeah.
Why
Look
is
at the
Fandaniel
snarly boy.
angry?
Yeah, Fandaniel looks like
Wait
pissed at
for
it.
it.
not only does he look angry, but at the very end, for a second, he like bares his teeth.
Yeah,
It's so hard to
that's the
get.
one.
Yep.
That's why I was
Yeah,
like,
might
I'm
have
gonna
to-
talk about his lips.
You
It's
might have to
very
put
sad.
it down to 0.25 to actually pause there.
It's exceedingly fast.
Yeah. That's got to be only like, what, 3 frames or something?
It's 2. I drew it out in GIF Maker.
Wow, that's dedication.
Of that, you can see the teeth.
Yeah, it's very subtle.
Yeah, there's definitely some tension there. Xenos is happy, and Daniel is not. I bring up that spear he was doing earlier. Oh, got it, nice.
They're in a tumultuous relationship, those two.
He does look calm unless you look really close.
I could squint a little.
Like, everyone just is like, it's time to squint menacingly up at
Some
the
of them-
sky.
Some of them seem to have the sense that they know we're on the moon at that point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Y'shtola has the Yuga eyes.
So, I cannot tell if she is more blind or this is just the new polish they're putting on the CG scenes.
Probably the new polish, but man, she needs to stop doing that.
It's probably a good way to explain her walking into the benches, though.
Well,
Yes.
she's already confirmed blind. Period.
I-
Matoya says, "When did the light leave your eyes, child?" She's straight up blind.
I had canon that she's blowing it up as soon as the camera goes away. She's just like, boom, fire 3. Get out of my way.
That would be fantastic if she's just like, you know what? I may not be able to see, but I can sure as hell blast everything out of my way.
She's also gone full punk in these CGs.
Right. She's very goth, and I also get the sense she might be able to see like the energy around her in like a soul sight kind of way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's been using ether vision basically for several
Heaven's Word.
expansions now. And Matoya has said that that is not good for her.
Well,
Which might
Matoya. Sorry, go ahead.
No, please, you go.
I was going to say Matoya is old, and most of her knowledge and understanding would be from before the 7th calamity. It's not impossible that Y'shtola is sufficiently rejoined to have sustainable vision. Especially since, going blind makes you rely on other things, she must have instinctively opened up the sight that she probably had all along, and that got stronger, presumably, probably, in the 7th Calamity. I'm not convinced it's actually... I used to think it was a ticking time bomb. I'm starting to walk back on that.
Right.
Just by the evidence of us playing through several expansions.
Well, and learning things like Xenos can use it now, in the resonant-style version of it. Hyphlodius, or however you pronounce his name, had that. Hades had that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think
It used to be natural.
Side, I think his her ether side is kind of different from soul side, but
Souls are ether.
Yeah, I think there may be variants of this ability, but
I suspect that being strong makes it easier to see the color, yeah.
The way I view it is she doesn't have to use the goggles anymore.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, basically.
The way I view it is if you go into G-pose and switch it over to the etherometer filter.
That's what the goggles shows.
Yeah, that's probably how she sees it. I kind of doubt that she can make out color, but she can obviously make out tones.
For anyone who hasn't had a chance to do that before, what it shows is more or less a dark light inversion, and it's all in a shade of blue. No colors other than that.
Yeah.
Whereas Hades and Hyphlodius can obviously see color.
He's not happy anymore?
He's smirking.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah, he's got
comparison.
that
I
smirk.
forget which channel I put it in, but someone was like, "Oh, hey, that's one of Hades' expressions, basically."
Yeah, it's pretty close.
He
Yeah,
is his
really.
grandson.
His grandson, yeah.
Yep. There's a bunch of similarities, and I was like, man, they really went into detail here, making it clear they're related.
Do you think the third eye is the moon?
I think it's related to the beasts and the things that came down, which if my theory about the moon being related to that, then maybe, yeah.
There was that translation. It was in another language. Someone translated what was it? Was it you, Neela, that translated the Varus part, where Xenos stabs his dad.
Yes,
and
I
then
indeed do that.
And then he mentioned something about a curse.
French, she said something about the curse in our genes, yes. Which is probably the inability to use magic, but question mark.
Something that I wanted to bring up before, because that shot was very well timed, because the veins in Xenos' eyes looks like the resonant lines. I mean, the resonant pattern when he's using the power of the echo.
Oh, I see. Yes.
The first beast.
There's the
First doom.
There's the line in chat.
Yeah, thanks, Neil. That's the one I was referring to. Yeah.
Oh yeah, well look how that sword glows.
Yep.
When it zooms out, it actually casts a puddle of light on the ground. I got very suspicious for a moment, and then realized it was just.
It's very
little-
bright
Yeah,
light.
and that
Blue
was
whiskey.
totally a Terminus beast.
It was the Terminus Beast. I don't think it's a
Yeah.
copy. I think it's the first beast. I think it's been on the moon for 12,000 years, and it's huge now.
Which is really interesting because if we think about it, they said the sound came from within the planet, but if it's on the moon, that kind of negates that.
Inversion theory. It all
Yeah.
got screwed.
I think part of
The
Heidel
seventh
winning was scooping everything in Amarot up and throwing it on the moon.
I'm just saying the seventh hell's become the seventh heaven. Wink.
Rather
So
becoming moon.
I disagree with you there, Fao, simply because as far as we know, Zodiac is what became the moon.
Oh no, I think it was all Ground Zero.
They were in space as we're shown at the end of Amarot, and that was the between us and our goal, aka making Zodiac loom to final misbegotten fiend.
Mm-hmm.
So if they weren't on the moon, they were on something.
So do you think that the moon is what used to be where Silvertier is now.
Do you want to hear my crazy theory?
Let's go.
Of course.
This is total tinfoil. But I think that the fear of falling stars caused people who were creating things they were afraid of to create a planet buster asteroid meteor the size of the moon. And that was hurtling down toward the planet. And they stopped it with Zodiark, and then it was just like sitting there. And that's why they were like, we can't continue like this. They have a huge rock looming over their head. They've never had that before. That's not normal to them. That's my crack theory, that it came about before the Sundering. That probably insane.
My only frame of reference was the beast being on the moon. There's no reason for it to be there.
Yeah, there really isn't.
Not unless it was in Zodiark.
Yeah, like Ayumi, Soldier, and I think it was during or immediately after the announcement showcase, were talking about the possibility that Zodiark stopped the final days by just giving all the Terminus beasts and whatever the suck and sealing them inside himself.
I also wondered if he just turned them into non-malevolent living creatures
That
that are
makes
just
me wonder.
living on the planet now.
Right. That makes me wonder what would happen if they had actually managed to complete the rejoinings. Like, if there was the sound still in the moon, what would happen?
It would wake up and go
then
home.
they would get another final days like immediately.
I think it would start up again. I think the Asians were inadvertently through the rejoinings, re-empowering the sound and the Terminus beasts. I don't think that was their intention, but I think that was a result of what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the trailer.
I have to say, it's just a wonderful trailer, fantastic, well done. It blows you away. And I did want to add one thing about the narration really quickly, actually, if that's all right.
Go for it.
One thing I noticed specifically about the lines that Hades narrates is that basically it could apply, the way he's describing it could be him describing what happened when he was on the convocation back in the time of the Ancients. He could be describing what we're doing in Endwalker. I think they're aiming for showing the similarity, the parallels, and saying it's both.
Yeah.
The final days were upon us. The fabric of our star had begun to fray.
You've done
Was
all
that
this.
then? Was that now?
You've done this before, and you're going to do it again.
Yeah, this line here I think is really interesting. Uncover myriad secrets of Hydaelyn Zodiark and deeper still, and that tells me that we are going to be addressing the sound for sure. That with the Terminus beast.
Y'all, I don't think Nilo is done reading off the narration.
Oh no, that I was just quoting the line. I was done. I appreciate it.
Okay.
I didn't want to go through all of it. The person, like the perspective it's from, it's not clear, and I think that's intentional.
Yeah, when I was listening to the trailer more yesterday, it occurred to me that perhaps the lines were pulled from MSQ, like with some of the other trailers. And I was sitting here, I was like, So either this could be, the end of 6.0 narration, or this
Story time.
Yeah, this could be story time. And ooh, if it's story time, I am here for that.
I think it's story time.
Especially
I
if
think
it's
it's story
narrated.
time as well.
If it's narrated by him, just like, oh, chef kiss.
Just like Heavensward and Bitmont.
I do remember very well the dialogue because many characters, and none of these lines are said like this in any of Shadowbringers. This is all new. They may resemble some of the lines spoken in the Dungeon of Amarok, but they're not the same.
They reprise them. I believe Bonnie did a side-by-side back when we got the teaser.
Yes,
Yeah.
I still have that tweet fave.
Yeah, it's a reprise.
Makes you wonder who he's telling the story, who didn't hear it before.
Or, and this is my hope, is that we finally use the goddamn Asm crystal that we've just been keeping in our pocket and call him. And we're like, okay, we need to know everything now, please.
Please tell us everything you know,
Everything.
and also help
Yeah.
us.
Tara brings up an excellent point. He's not using his dramatic voice. He's just telling the story.
Mm-hmm.
He's more well behaved.
He's not running a mask or any sort of like act anymore. He's completely genuine.
Mm-hmm. And he's talking about the Scions and those who are standing up against the final days like they are heroes.
Yeah. That slide, that fucking slide. Oh god.
Which one?
The next one. That one. No. When said by this new cool guy with a British band called the Architects, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, the Architects.
It's
Exactly.
probably coincidence, but it is pretty fun.
It's a funny coincidence.
I wonder how many Imperial nations Sam Carter has started.
Wow.
Purely inclined nations. I'm the one who did that edit, and
you know that I usually don't believe in coincidences. It's like, but it could be, but it's like,
there's this. This is the Labyrinthos, the underground vault tech bunker that they're going to build or have. This thing made me feel like so many Fallout vibes, but on a grand scale. Like this is how they're going to ride out the apocalypse.
Fantasy Fallout, I love it.
Yumi, do you know who? I don't know who actually told me. I think it was in Discord anyway. But when I was saying this was basically a cage of flies, and then someone pinged me with it's actually a fortress of flies, and I was.
Welcome to Fallout 78.
I have two theories about what this could be, Labyrinthos. It's either on the moon or it's under Charlayan.
I think it's under Charlayan.
Yeah, and under Charlayan, explain why they're not worried about the surface of the planet being completely destroyed.
They'll just retreat into their bunker.
Yeah, so I went on a tangent talking to Ayumi and Soldier yesterday about Labyrinthos and just started screen capping different pieces of architecture from the trailer for Labyrinthos. And it's almost assuredly Charlene. We've got the round domed buildings. We've got a bunch of the same pillars. The
color scheme is identical.
Yeah, and then the place you seem to enter from has the Nautilus shell themes on it, mirrored side by side above the doorway.
I would like to interject. Labyrinthos is an actual school for astrologians and tarot card readers.
Huh.
So yes, Charlayan would be more correct.
Awesome.
I was actually speaking with someone about the themes of Mount Ordeals, I believe Kato in the server. Themes of Mount Ordeals from Final Fantasy IV, where Cecil has to go and become a paladin and learns about his heritage, his family.
Labyrinths have always been a symbol for self-discovery and mystery, basically. I mean, I could go on a tangent about the many depths of the interpretation of labyrinths in art and in mythology. But just so you know, it's basically mystery and self-discovery.
I imagine it's going to be very fun to learn more about Azem under the surface of the ground, under the light of a false sun.
This is a request from Bonnie.
It may contain content inappropriate for children. That's our Bonnie's request. I wouldn't be surprised.
So if you stop at like the very start of the trailer, you can see the dual shell design I was talking about.
It's up here in the top left.
I think it's not sized for screen correctly.
There you go.
There we go. Yeah.
Oh, good detail. It's different too. It's not the usual spiral. It's weird.
Yeah, it's a little bit more stylized.
I'm switching it to a different browser window.
Okay. And yeah, the music in that place, Tara, is creepy. It's It reminds me of the
trying-
Calcabrina's theme a little bit, just because
less
of the kind of
overtly,
box quality.
it's less overtly like off than Calcabrina, but it's definitely weird.
Charlayans have a twisted streak under the surface, it seems.
It's like it's trying to be cheery and bright, but it's all a lie.
Yeah, someone said the best analogy I've seen is Disney.
Yeah, that is that, isn't it? It's Disneyland
Yeah,
for
very
reality.
happy and bright on the surface, but not so much underneath.
So I don't know if I wrote down the quote, but while Yoshi P was talking about Labyrinthos, he said something that struck me about that was kind of odd is he was talking about like some of the architecture here looks very ancient and like it's been here a long time, but then he mentioned that something seems a little odd about the technology that's strewn around. So I was looking through it again, and some of the like giant gears on the windmills and stuff were giving me vibes of Ritter on a Cataract. So like Gaug.
Oh.
Could be if could you imagine if they hoarded the knowledge of the Gugans?
Yeah, that's what I was kind of wondering if like this place is like, shall we say old Charlane? Like I like the idea that it's a bunker, but I'm also wondering if this is like one of their really old
This could even be 5th Astral Era.
The original
earlier.
Charlane.
Actually, that's the old. As in Stormblood, Liz mentions that design is the old Ephyrae design for Charlane.
Yeah, and then if you look on top of that windmill, there's one of the Nautilus designs too in crystal.
All the like, water running around and everything, like the water wheels, that kind of made my mind think about the Wanderer's Palace as well, and all the gears in the walls.
Yeah.
And the Garam Scythe waterway in Ramsar.
I think you have a good point there. It does seem like that Nautilus symbol could be a precursor to the one they now use.
Yeah.
It feels like a more simplistic, less stylized version.
Yeah. Aside from like this barrier seeming like extremely high tech in a sense to me, the entirety of Labyrinthos is giving me this vibe of being a predecessor to current Charlane.
I mean, I think I hollered on stream something Dwemer ruins.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, that would be very...
ancient, old, but not, created by those with advanced knowledge.
Yeah.
People who value logic and reason.
By the way, people were suggesting in chat that we extend this episode, and I agree because we have still many things to do.
Well, if you check live chat, I was saying that because it's a fan fest, we should go longer than our normal 2 hours.
Okay.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
I'm stupid then. Don't mind me.
Those people are not running out of energy.
There's one in particular I'm very eager to talk about, so...
There's 3 things that I'm particularly eager to talk about, so I'll spam Fal with videos when we get to those.
I've lost the original layout, sorry. We'll just have to do it this way.
Yeah, that's fine. It's better to have it bigger, probably, anyway. And
Still going to play
Titania's
anyway.
infamous words, big is better.
Question: are we still going to play because I want to play?
Yes.
Thanks.
Yes. I thank you, Tara. Zeal. I'm really, really curious and excited about that.
Oh, okay. You meant Asper.
Yeah. Yeah, Data. Zeal.
Who wants to talk about that?
Yeah, if you want to explain what Zeal is, go for it.
So Zeal is a floating continent civilization in the Square Enix title Chrono Trigger, the Square title Chrono Trigger. It's set 12,000 BC during the height of the Ice Age. It is a floating magical kingdom in a world where only the magical are allowed to live there, and regular humans are stuck on the cold wasteland Earth. It's a floating, beautiful, fantastical place, and it looks very much like the screen rips from the floating continent. Do we have a picture?
We should.
We had them in Discord a while ago, but I'd like to get them side by side if we can. It's really a garbage name, though, Soldier, isn't it?
The word is tickling my brain. I think there's a German word that's similar.
What is?
Seal. I'm trying to remember.
I'm doing a Photoshop for side by side right now.
Thank you.
We're back.
Yeah, we're back. Can everybody chime in to make sure we can hear everyone?
Why would I do that?
Fire!
Hello.
Audio check,
Hi.
audience.
Here.
What's up?
I knew you would appreciate that, Meowth.
Fuck you.
Cancel light.
Well, anyway.
So do we care enough about Thavnir to watch the Thavnir and Razat videos?
No, it's eye cancer.
Yes.
Please don't put that on.
We do because we want to see that tower because it looks different.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about the tower.
I'm just thinking about Fandaniel's tower.
And the red sky too.
I mean, he just has so many of them, you know? I'm not good with numbers.
The bright look isn't for everyone for sure, but I've played enough like sepia tone games that I personally appreciate it.
I appreciate it because I have the saturation and colors bumped up in G-Shade so much on 14 right now for the vanilla areas because I'm a tetrachromat and I'm just like, I need the brighter colors.
You and me both, Bonnie.
All right, I posted it.
And Daniel Smith's tower.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
So this is the floating continent shown in 14.
Scroll down more. He did a side-by-side in Discord. There we go.
Yep. It's like
silent.
it's like Zeal never fell out of the sky because how long ago was Zeal?
Hold on.
How long ago was the
good.
Sundering?
Ow. Ow.
There you go.
We are not coming through chat. Okay, I guess we're good now.
Okay.
It's so weird. Apologies, please continue.
Now you're allowed to talk.
I'm sorry, I'm confused.
They were saying in chat that the stream was silent.
Is it silent
So
now?
you were...
Can they hear us?
Good now.
Say it's good now. So
I didn't change any settings. Like, legit, when you heard us and didn't hear us, it was all the same.
It probably just dropped out or something. That's weird.
Yeah, probably. It's probably Twitch being Twitch.
Yeah.
I personally, if I may, share my thoughts on this floaty garden thing.
Go for
No
it.
one's stopping you.
I'm just asking.
Go for it.
The thing that we actually see is Amortian spires on building structures and the like. It seems that one of these things is going to be a dungeon. We know that this thing in the map is actually located above Garlemald. And in the dungeon, we actually can see the mountain, the snowy mountains of Garlemald in one of the when they're doing the run.
I would like to caveat very quickly. We know there's something floating above Garlemald. We know this is floating. It's a reasonable assumption, but we don't know it as a fact.
Well, basically,
Yeah, there's
highly-
that, and
But it's not guaranteed.
it's relatively safe to say it be, but it's not confirmed it is. Better that way.
I also kind of disagree that the Amortine dungeon we see in the dungeon trailer is going to be here,
Are you
but
talking-
Architect matches.
we'll see.
Are you talking about the place that has no monsters?
They
That looks just
without
like-
They showed Fandaniel Towers, like one of the Fandaniel Towers with the teeth door, and then they showed a
Yeah.
Magitek, and then they showed a building or structure that looked a lot like Anamnesis, but with like force fields and like corruption and shit in it.
That's what I was like. Which one? Because there's Anamnesis
So-
clone, and then there's Train Dungeon.
So I'm not talking about the train dungeon. We'll get to it when we talk about the dungeons, but the dungeon after the train depot and after the corrupted Garlean Palace looking
That was
place.
what I was referring to.
This is also
But,
some.
has a lot more white than I'm seeing a lot of gold here. Again, that could just be a concept art thing, but
Yeah, there's that. And then something that's just interesting to me, I was staring at this art last night because I was debating to myself whether or not it's too bright to set as my desktop wallpaper, which it definitely is. But the undersides of the island are really interesting to me because there's those golden pillars, which at first I thought were skyscrapers on the top half, but you see them mirrored on the bottom half, and I was just like, that's interesting.
Reminds me of the floating system that Asisla has, to be fair.
That's true. But also, if you remember in the first, when we're standing upon the cityscape, like, we're not at ground level.
Mm-hmm.
And there are pillars that go down that the city sits on.
Yes.
So, you could... My brain is imagining someone literally raising it into the sky.
Yeah, like
12,000 years ago.
I do personally think that this is probably the source's Amarot, at least a fragment of it, because there's that building in the middle of the main island. If you can actually zoom in on the full artwork and you look at it, it appears to have the rounded tiers that we see of that massive building in Amarot that we can't get to. So
Yeah, you're right. Actually, the
Is-
middle part.
Is the center top island the Aetheryte? That looks like a crystal to me.
So, Ayumi and I were talking about that briefly yesterday, and that looks like it's some kind of tree.
So I wanted to point
sea
out
trees.
that there are approximately three, but maybe two. There are two platforms that have water going from it. There are the very top one in the center there that has water flowing from it, and then there's the one right next to it that has water flowing from it. There are trees all across the island here,
One
but
on the
those
right
are the
as well.
only. Yep, there you go, right from the right as well. But
Waterfalls, right?
yes, I'm talking about the waterfalls, yeah. So the biggest one up there, it has a unique design. It's not like any other tree that's there. So I got to thinking, like, if they were to, call it something, like make it special. I mean, I know that the Aoife tree is some kind of thing that's been passed around in Final Fantasy lore, but it would we assume that something along those lines would be called, would be, given? A title would be given to something like that?
You know what it also reminds me of? Which I'm about to fly over to it now, but I've talked about it before, and that's the Papistry in Ozislaw. Some of the curving branch structures reminds me of that.
It's an important side note as well that it could very well, granted, it could certainly. There's obviously trees up there.
It's obviously the biggest island that has the waterfalls there,
right?
So,
but
it's
I
important.
I think I see a crystal. I really do. And if we're looking at etherology, if it's a water crystal, that could be the source of the waterfall.
But yeah, there's several other waterfalls, but they're not as prominent as the one at the top there, along with the uniquely structured tree.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised that there's something aside. I mean, my nickname for this area as of now.
I'm also noticing. Oh, sorry. Oh, I have something to say when you're done.
No, I was just musing that you guys know my nickname for this place based on my assumptions. I call it Hades' floaty garden. And I mean, if it's above garden mode, it would make even more sense. And it would be actually like it would answer the question of where the hell there's no trace of Amorot's ruins or ancient ruins in general in the source. Well, they're in the sky. And probably they were launched to the sky to keep them away from probably Highland. Knowing that we know, of course.
Do we want to look at the world map?
I'd like to say something else on this, please, if we could.
Before it.
I was also noticing that island with the largest waterfall, there the foliage appears much more yellow than everywhere else. And the tree, kind of a different shape. The shape actually reminds me of the mushroom thing we see in the moon video. Not a lot, just a little.
Yeah.
All right.
The other thing that was really odd about this place, okay, well, let me backtrack that. There were a couple things that were really odd about them revealing this place. One, they didn't give us a name at all, which to me makes me think that it's too spoilery for them to give us because they know we like to translate whatever area titles and whatnot that they give us. But two, he mentioned the colors being similar to that of Ilmeg.
Ah, yes.
Eternal Kingdom.
In fact, Ilmeg is translated to the Kingdom of Rainbows.
No.
I don't think so. I should have known.
Something that I want to note, just as a crackhead-ish, but also plausible theory regarding the rainbowy-ness of this area, is I believe it was during the development panel when they were touring Matoya's Relict that they pointed out that the reason the lava is all rainbowy is because of presence of all of the different elemental ether.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So I'm wondering if this just happens to be an extremely ether-dense area, and that's why it's so rainbowy.
Well, if you look at the sky, it's very purple.
I would also like to point out the color ranges in these clouds here remind me a lot of the Endwalker art with all the people.
Yeah, the keynote art.
Yeah.
Also, it's just really damn pretty.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it's stunning. Absolutely stunning.
I get the feeling we're going to go here after the moon. That the moon won't be the end.
Oh,
zone.
absolutely. This is it's going. I don't think it'll be the final zone, but I think it might be the next to final zone.
Yeah, because
Might be
so they
something
revealed 5
special.
zones, and we usually get 6. So I'm assuming that the one that they haven't revealed is the final zone.
They also said that there's more than one zone on the moon, other than the one that we're going to talk about soon.
Better be.
I'm excited for that.
Hey, real quick, I'm sorry, chat. It's been, I've been told that my audio's been cutting out. Did you hear my Chrono Trigger rant or no?
Yeah, I did.
No, Discord would have been fine. This would have been a stream issue.
Did you hear his Chrono Trigger rant?
I think I did.
Over
No.
not over Discord, over.
Oh,
Okay, go for it.
My apologies. I'll try to say it with similar passion. What happened in Chrono Trigger is that there is a intergalactic being named Lavos that dug itself into the Earth during prehistoric times. During the arc where Zeal happens, the queen of the kingdom decides to build an undersea palace and a machine called the Mammon Machine, which is attempting to harness the power of this beast. And in doing so, she destroys all civilization on the planet with the exception of 2 small camps of Ice Age technology-level humans and a memory of a magical kingdom in the sky that no longer exists. Different tack, same story. I hope
How
that was
very
helpful.
Amaranth.
How very Amaranth. Yeah. Like, we're talking like sound corollary. This is the whole Lavos theme that you've been hearing about. Some streamers will talk about, is it Lavos? Like, there's a reason that they compare it to that, and I'm expecting some sort of eldritch horror in the center of the planet that caused the source myself, but we'll see.
I'm expecting for half the player base to want to bone said eldritch horror.
Only the bards.
Do well.
So shall we move on to the next area, or do you guys have more that you want to say about this one?
I just want to point out where it is on the world map, and that it has been on the world map.
It's to be above Garlemald.
Yes.
Yeah, so Fao, you should have the world map somewhere.
It's a file on my desktop. I'll pull it up.
Which means they've had this in the game planned since Stormblood at least.
Urge to sing Stormblood section of the trailer intensifies.
To be fair, it would be very clever to be like, hey, let's add a floating area because someday we could use it. The worst thing you do is just leave it there and leave people.
I agree completely with Soldier. I think it is a Lavos creature. Which would be a great way to re-kick off the Chrono Trigger franchise.
It's actually a grotesque queen.
No.
Let's not go there. Let's not.
What about the Charlatan grotesquerie?
No.
Okay, so I have a
no.
stipulation. It can be a grotesquerie queen if we get to feed Yashtola to a seed of destruction.
No, Konog's already doing that for us.
That's true. Shit.
He needs to back off.
There you go.
Huzzah. So y'all will notice that most of the little illustrations around Garlemald are various Garlean ships, except for one very particular lightning-y one right there.
Now, this always struck me as obsidian and lava, but still, it's a very obvious floating
You'll see islands beneath it there too. There's one below it, and there's one to the side of the ship too.
Mm-hmm.
Right there. And off to the side there.
Makes me wonder if the Sea of Clouds isn't unique and that there's lots of places that have floating islands on them.
It seems like they're all over the place. Truly.
Yeah.
Also got like little areas.
Yes, we have. We're proud of it.
that would be interesting to visit.
High five, Bonnie.
High five. Oh, just to backtrack really quickly to Labyrinthos, how close do you guys think that it is to the Ethereal Sea?
Considering the anti-tower gets right to it, I mean, I don't think depth is the issue necessarily. In other words, I think it's probably close.
Maybe it's under the.
Go back to Old Charlene again.
On the map?
Yeah. Zoom in. Okay. The cylindrical structure kind of threw me off for just a second.
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
Perspective.
Man, I can't wait for a tower to pop up in Charlotte.
Also, there's a whirlpool there.
Yeah,
Many
there's
whirlpools.
3 whirlpools there, yeah.
Also, look at the above the northern sea. There's this. I already rolled. Sorry. There's the symbol of the sun over the northern empty.
Yeah, we got those. Those are probably symbols of stars used for navigation if you look at old navigation charts for ships.
Could be.
Yeah.
But yes, it looked a lot like the Azim symbol. That gave me until I realized there was like 12 of them.
Oh,
It's amazing that we've gone across several seas and still haven't met any of these sea monsters on the map.
Oh,
Right.
Reminder, the Isle of Val would have been over here as well.
Yep.
Would have been.
Mm-hmm.
Would have.
It's not one of those whirlpools, is it?
Probably.
Probably. Go down towards Limsa real quick. I just want to point out an aside while we have the map up.
Absolutely.
So, geographically speaking, if we compare the source to the first, Amarot's original location should be in the Indigo Deep. Because that's the equivalent to the Tempest.
Yeah, I would say a little northwest of there, but yeah, right where it says Indigo Deep.
Which assumes at least that like the geography hasn't shifted at all on the source since that time.
Well, even so, the plates that Amarot would have sat on would have remained the same plates.
Like, I feel like they didn't. If that area is indeed Amarot, just in the sky instead of in the sea, I'm thinking that maybe they decided to go with the flying aspect because they didn't want to do under the sea again. And if you make it airborne, then suddenly you can have it wherever you want.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention that putting it in the sky versus the sea is like the complete inverse.
Yep.
Like broken angel.
And we do love our inversion.
Cast from heaven. Do you think it's going to be something like it was like Amorot, the broken Amorot in the first was kind of like hell, the descent to hell, and the possibly Amorot in the sky is going to be like heaven.
Perhaps.
These angels come from.
Well, this was the pre-fall angels, perhaps, since the convocation is themed as fallen angels.
Yar.
Yeah.
Onward to Thavner, for those of you who care.
Good.
I do quite like the music that we hear in the Thavner trailer. And you can see the aetheryte there is very standard.
I think we're going to drain this water and go into the well.
Yep.
Are you?
Al and
did
I
we
were
show
calling
the
it-
Queen's Well. Is that what
Calling
it's
it
called?
earlier, we're going to see Ashura at one point here.
Do we remember what the name of the actual well in real life was called? There's a thing that looks like this that I saw very recently.
Oh.
When you say Queen's Well, it tickles my brain because I speak Arabic, so Melika's Well just literally means Queen's Well to me, and that made me double take a
I
little.
found it. I found it. It's not the most perfect of sources, but I'll show it. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The very first picture is reminiscent. You imagine it filled with water. It was basically a reservoir built in the 11th century AD in India, and it's stunning and goes down, you know. Let's see here.
Of course, my browser doesn't want to load that site because my internet is stupid.
If
So it reminds me of this, but filled to the brim.
Ah.
I could see it.
Yeah, that's good.
Look at this. This is real life, done 900 years ago in India.
And we know they do love to take inspiration from real life.
Yes, exactly. And also, Fafnir is the India of Final Fantasy, what with the Elephant Beast tribe and everything else.
And the bright colors.
And the bright very contrasty colors.
They reminded me a lot of
The
Eastern
New
Indian
York-
culture.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just wanted to show that really quick.
Maybe that'll
that's
be
good.
our dungeon entrance.
Yeah. Could be.
Pull a switch, the water drains out.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if,
Bonus
like,
points if we get another Indiana Jones style facility.
oh geez, with like the rock behind
I
us.
was going to say, just make Thancred hold his breath.
I honestly am excited to see Fafnir. Not
Yeah,
in like
I
a
am
deep
too.
emotional sense,
Right.
but I'm glad to go there. It's about darn time, and
Yeah,
Mhm.
I agree.
I'm here for it. It's fine.
See where Jalzan and Ardashir came from, and I want to see what their culture is like. But I also want to see how they're going to get impacted by the sound. I feel like they're like going to be the microcosm of the coming apocalypse that we're going to see firsthand.
I agree.
Early.
I think they're going to be one of the first really heavily impacted areas.
Yeah.
I think it's either going to be early or it's going to be late, just because of the way Thancred and Urianger were talking about it in the trailer, talking about how there was a brief respite afforded to the land, but welp.
Yeah.
Good luck.
I highly suspect they're going to divide this expansion up the way they did Stormblood, where it's one side, then Far East, then back.
Oh, it's going to be all over the place.
I think we're going to do a narrative back and forth. I think they're
Okay,
gonna
so
do
they
something similar.
confirmed that already.
Oh, did
that
Oh, they did.
Well,
yeah,
I wasn't
so
listening, so
in-
I still get credit.
So during the announcement showcase, they were talking about how they wanted to base our travel more on what the story needs versus having like linear progression through the zones. So they said that we were going to be traveling back and forth all over the place as is deemed necessary by the MSQ and the flow of the story.
I have to say that will give us a sense of running around frantically putting out fires. And I think that's something they're going to want to go for.
Yeah. Are we putting enough fires on the first two?
Did we want to go through the two trailers for Thavnir and Radzat Han, or did we want to go to the place that's going to take me a couple months to actually say the name of correctly?
That
I suggest
That
we
one.
look at the tower briefly in the Thavnir area.
Yeah, so
As it's appreciably different from the others.
if you scroll up in live chat, Fao, I put the links to all the trailers right above Cobb's post.
You're a treasure, Bonnie.
Aw, thanks.
Yeah, and a good thing we can teleport.
They have a
data.
Charlian Aetherite.
Yeah, they have a Charlene one here, which I'm just like, why?
It is a little odd. They stole it.
See, the colors don't look as loud in this trailer. It makes me wonder if the color balance was off.
On the stream.
It's
Mhm.
possible.
Quality was off too. The whole thing
Okay,
was
so
vibrating.
pause.
Mhm.
Pause
No
where
glowing
the
red
mount-
for starters.
Yeah, pause where the mount is going across the beach and we can see. Yeah, that's totally different.
The legs are the same. The spiky bits, it's got a lot more spiky bits. The purple's different.
Yeah, there's
It
no
has
red
a
in
lot
it,
of
like you
very
said.
erect spikes.
And if you look, there's actually a white diamond that has the same as the red pattern, but different.
I see it.
It's it's not very obvious because there's a lot of other stuff going on. But yeah, it's like Tower 2.0.
Right.
It
I
also
mean, this
looks
Now with extra freaky purple bits at the bottom. I'm betting that's going to be our dungeon entrance right there at the bottom.
mhm.
It also looks like it might be smaller, but it's hard to tell just because of the perspective in these shots. They're not using normal game perspective.
Yeah, it's so big, it's hard to tell.
There's the entrance right there.
I'm sure of it.
That temple is interesting to me.
Was it a temple or was it a quarry?
There's a dancer shrine.
I think that's the same one that gets smashed in with the ice falling stuff.
Yes.
Yep,
that's the
because
same.
there's the peacock.
Mm-hmm.
And we can actually see the dancer statues.
Actually, that might be a different one. Wasn't the other one round, not cross-shaped?
I don't recall.
It could also just be a quirk of, the fact that they make the trailers so much earlier than anything else. I find it so interesting, though, that they have the Charlayan Aetherite there, but then we see Eorzean Aetherite in one of the screenshots, and then I forget which Aetherite they show here.
Development footage is subject to change, so they may eventually coordinate, decide which one they want.
Yeah, or they could be working on specific Thavnair ones and they're just using placeholders.
Familiar
Possible.
Because I think the one in here... Okay, so this one doesn't look like the Yulmoran one anymore. Okay.
It's still got the little banners on it, but otherwise it's Eorzean. Eorzean ones do not have those banners.
Yeah. This is really pretty, and this coloration looks a lot more like what I'd expect out of the game without G-Shade.
Agreed.
Their stream must have been doing something wonky during the keynote. Because even I was like, oh no, the colors.
Yeah.
The song is the Charlayan song.
Yeah.
Same musical theme.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Leitmotif is the right pronunciation.
Yeah, the melody.
Leitmotif.
It's long enough we might call it a melody, but yeah, same general difference.
Loud, that's on purpose.
It's so pretty. Please give more Thavnair glam.
Sure.
Especially now that we're getting bunny boys. Ooh.
Hey, think about dungeon drops from this area.
Oh my god. It's gonna be great.
Next, let's see.
I believe Mare Lamentorium Torum.
Is that what we're watching next?
I think that's what's up next in the Google Doc.
We are
Oh wait, no, Garlemald is next in the Google Doc.
I was about
That's
to
just
say, are we
screenshots.
ignoring Garlemald?
No, we're
We're
just
definitely
progressing
not
through
in
the slides.
Google. Also, may I say how excited I was to see that Tilo structure? I've been having ideas about that for a long time. I think there's a reason they haven't shown us the top. I think it's going to look like the Central Asm sigil.
Oh,
That'd be amazing.
we know
Because
why. I love that.
Because the other ones are all what they're opposed to. They're opposed to the Scion of Darkness.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to say I love the aesthetic of these Garlemald screenshots where it's like really black and white, but then you've got the pops of vibrant color.
Yeah, it's the constructivist Russia.
Like, I didn't notice it at first with the first one, but the second one really made me realize it because it was like gray and white and black and gray and white and black. Oh, hello, suddenly there's green. And then I had to look at them all again.
Tower.
I love how spiky it is.
It's great.
Hello, Tower. I read Garlemald. I mean, if you don't mind me reading too much into things, these spots of color, I mean, aside of the black, white, gray, red. The spots of green is kind of like life hasn't yet entirely left this place. Like there's a spot of hope still here. It's kind of a weird feeling.
Yeah, from a concept and color design standpoint, I'm relatively sure that's probably what they were going for.
Also, they have fucking roads.
I know, right? I'm still not over them having like modern roads.
I
Like-
know
Gotta
where
civilize the
I know.
savages, okay?
Like just for shit posting's sake, like when we get DC travel and we've all finished doing our MSQ and whatever, I kind of want us all to go over to Excalibur or one of y'all's DCs and just like all get in our regalias and just go for a
Yes.
drive and take screens.
Yes.
We would have wished to visit Garlemald when it's not entirely fucked up.
And then whatever car Soldier is in, I'll have to Photoshop a Namazu painted on the hood.
The Sea of Sadness.
Yeah, so let's go over the video for Mare Lamentorum. And for anyone who may not be looking at the screen, Earth's moons, regions, are all sea of blank.
Yeah,
and they decided to do that with Heidelin's moon.
The biggest sea, well, it's a crater actually, in the moon is called the Sea of Tranquility. In this one is the Sea of Sorrow.
There's
just has
so
a
much
rocking
to it.
chair. Seriously.
I feel like this is very much not going
This
to
is
be
his
anything
house.
to do with the Asians. I mean, it's funny to shitpost it, but I really feel like there's a reason we always see him on its bare surface. No plants, no nothing, just rocks.
They didn't want to spoil
now we
the three
know.
expansions early.
That's also possible.
And then there's
Why
the
is there
craft
Allergan stuff?
Allegan, yeah, ship.
Yeah.
This
So-
is the
That's
tree I
the
was
ship.
talking about.
Wreckage. What the
That plant growth there was what I was saying looked like at the top of the other one.
That shot is quite intriguing with the three. Well, anyways.
Freaking sun shot gets me every time. Like,
Oh, that looks so good. And you've got the
It's
ancient Aether right there too.
yeah.
It's been Orange since the beginning of the game.
Weather
Yep.
effects include the dark side of the Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or
fun
the planet.
Fun aside for anyone who doesn't know this, if you're on the character login screen for 14 and you pan the camera, you can see the sun on the character select
Yes.
screen.
Mm-hmm. It's the same sun you see when you first log in for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
So there's some interesting things to note about this first floor of that building. The instruments are the same as we see in Anamnesis Anator, except here the crystals, like all those spherical crystals like in the bottom left, are glowing, unlike the ones in Anamnesis Anator, which are dim.
And I'm very intrigued by this. You see the sphere here. There's actually one above it. It's like a large hanging thing. It's a double sphere thing. My first thought was the staff thing that Heidelin appears to be holding in the Amano art that appears to have two spheres on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. The Dragon Star and Omegazone. That's my theory.
May just be. Who knows?
And I feel like that's a crashed Allegan shuttle.
Yes.
It reminds me a lot of the Final Fantasy VIII Ragnarok. The coloration,
Yeah.
obviously, they're both red, but that's the vibe I get.
I like to think
Yeah,
that we're
there's
going
no
to take the ship to
Hold up
get
a
there
moment.
and teleport back.
Hold up a flippin' moment. Those engine-looking things are lit up.
Those are thrusters, the whole technology.
They
Nothing
look-
Allegan dies ever. They don't make them like that
That's
anymore.
fair. That's fair.
They built those to last.
I'm
Well, let's
honestly
fly it
wondering
on
if
back.
that's how we
It
arrive
could
and
be
we
how
just
we get
That's
there.
what I was realizing. It was like,
Yeah.
wait, the thrusters are lit up. Is it just parked and waiting for us?
I think we're going to use the ship to get there and then teleport back.
Possibly,
Well,
because if you look on the right-hand side of the screen, there's Allagan's scrap, which is why I think we crashed it. And you can also see the ground is
It's impacted.
Impact crater.
Yeah, impact crater.
I will say I expect we're gonna have scions there, so they have to have a way to get back too.
Look, it's the sun.
To be
Damn
honest, I can't. To be honest, I mean it's like this is what happens if you let Asm pilot stuff.
Oh god, wouldn't it be hilarious if like flying to the moon is an active time maneuver?
Oh no.
Oh
And
my
then it
god.
just like gets more and more ridiculous, and then we just screw up and crash no matter what you do.
If this is a section in which Hades is with us, Sorry, go on.
Yeah, that's the thing that made me think of the yellow.
Did I just break Meowth with that idea?
I mean, she should just
Okay,
make
so
a
that's
comic
a
book
yes.
and be done with it.
So that's Meowth death number 1. That structure is so similar to the one in Idleshire. At the very end.
That was my first thought. That and the like part of the crystal tower inside that shows you what floor you're on.
Yeah. And it has purple crystals.
Yeah, I'm like, what's that? What is it? Kind of reminds me of an elevator bank.
Yeah. I kind of have this weird thought about the first building where I'm wondering if, like, maybe we make that when we get there. Like, maybe we bring some crazy concept crystal with us that has, like, pocket dimension we can unravel and place something.
It's completely covered in moon symbolism. I think it's been there a while.
Yeah,
like
that's what
inside, you
I'm
see the moon.
hoping.
Look there, there's the moon there out the side. It's all like moon, moon, moon.
Mm-hmm. The moon to go with the sun.
I mean, I should.
That other building is so much smaller than the main one, too.
The pit is leaking purple ether.
Mhm.
Hint, hint.
Yep.
Yeah, it's, no, I'm not gonna say it.
Bonk?
Yes. just bonk. Oh yeah, it could be related to the tiny bunny people hunt.
That was my. What Soldier said was my assumption that it's the hole in the logo art or related to it. It may get bigger. Because the size of that is not even visible if you zoom out on the moon. It's barely visible as a puck, and that was a
I have a thought regarding that. So when a bullet impacts, the entry is small, but the exit is fucking massive.
I have subscribed to this theory. I like this theory.
So yeah, that's what I'm going with for now, is that's the entry wound, so to speak. Yeah, so for anyone not aware, they're not using the term primals anymore. They did a little bit for the Shadowbringers fan festivals, which, like, if you were to download the press kits for Shadowbringers, they actually call Innocence and Titania primals in the files.
Yeah, they aren't.
Not in any sense.
Changed the terminology, then it would have been suspicious.
Yeah. So now the terminology is officially changed, so they're using new threat. So in February, we had Anima revealed. And then they did their transition a little weird during FanFest. But the Magus Sisters are the next new threat that they revealed.
Notice they're side by side with Beast Tribe art.
Yes. That's part of what was really odd about the transition, because they transitioned from this to talking about the new tribe. And they had to catch themselves and really quickly explain that these and the Loperites are completely unrelated. They only did it in like a sentence and a half before going directly into talking about the new tribe.
Also,
But they did confirm these separate.
Also, whenever we get a new primal, there's always artwork that accompanies it. We don't get a CG render like that.
Yeah, and he was talking about how you're going to have to play the story to find out why these Magus Sisters are different from previous Final Fantasy.
Yeah, the FF4 ones.
Because those visually are similar to the FF4 ones, right? It's not.
Yes,
like
they're identical. It was a small tubby and a extremely tall skinny. Same deal.
Sort of same. The colors are slightly different, but yeah.
So something that was really weird about what they said about the Magus Sisters for 14 is they were saying that these Magus Sisters are original to 14. So since visually they're not, I have to assume that their story role is.
Yeah, they might not be bit player and tags.
Yeah, and for anyone who isn't aware of the Magus Sisters, the characters are based on the Fates from Greek mythology. Their names are all derived from the Fates.
Like Cindy, Lindy, and Mindy.
Their actual names. Be fine.
Goodness
the
gracious.
names of the Fates, that's Clotul, Lachesis, and Atropos.
Well, I tried. I give up.
I'll pull up Final Fantasy. Sisters.
Here's the PSP version. Oh yeah, this will work.
Mindy.
PSP version. There.
Yeah, so they are really similar design, not exact costumes, but
Correct.
definitely same weaponry and same vibe.
Loporits.
Loporits.
They resemble a lot in differences. I know they are basically the moon rabbits, but they resemble in design a lot to FF12 Muggles.
Yeah, they
Oh.
do.
I wonder if they're going to be as mischievous.
I love FF12 Moogles. Those are my favorite Moogles, honestly.
Yes, I love.
No, I hate them.
They're so cute.
Also, they can they can fight.
Craft Smoogles League.
Definite resemblance, yeah.
Yeah, Roxas, we're probably going into Finn Daniels' meat locker and dealing with it from within.
Madam, it is a tower. Sorry. Not sorry.
The tower, yes, that's how they're calling it these days.
See?
He wants to feel large.
They're so cute. I'm very curious about the lore for them. I hope that they're one of the first beast tribes we get access to, instead of having to wait and wait and wait.
Do you think Elidibus made them?
Yeah.
I see no reason why he would have made them. Why would he waste his energy on things that aren't helpful? Unless they are in some way helpful to freeing Zodiac.
They keep them sane while we're
Maybe
interacting
they're
with
insane
them.
Zodiac
Not sane.
cultists.
I'm so sorry to tell you this, but the Unsundered are not sane.
So a little interesting design note, the little Loporrit there on their belt, they have a little moon, of course, which is adorable. But that's a purple crystal, and that's like the purple crystals that were on that structure in
Yeah, servants of darkness.
the moon.
They also were violet.
Also reminding me of Xenos' little pendant.
Mm-hmm.
He's a bunny.
Yes, moon's haunted by bunnies, soldier.
Really, the moon isn't so much haunted as exceedingly cute.
Yeah. I need artwork of Zodiac just snuggling the Loporits, honestly.
Yeah. we thought it was too. It turns out he was just chilling with cute rabbits in the room.
He was just like, I'm lonely. I want something to snuggle. Make slopperets.
What do you guys think they're going to do for this new small-scale PvP mode?
8-mans. I think it's going to basically be 8-man feast, but with adjustments.
I was hoping it was all they're doing is letting you bring a full party. You have to queue You have to queue with 4 people or less. It's garbage. Hate it.
This part is all just refreshing from the last live letter, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sadly, no new info on Pandemonium as much as I had my fingers crossed.
I was so excited to see it, and then they're just like, nope.
Yeah, I will say I did add a little sentence there that they said from the keynote specifically because it stuck out to me.
What, the original content?
They called this Pandemonium a Final Fantasy XIV original and said that it has original enemies.
Yeah, I like that. I don't know what it means.
Same.
Direct redux of 2 or 9. Probably themes, but not complete ripping.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's fair. I haven't expected them to do a straight rip since Ivalice, to be honest. Like, everything's been tied in such a way that it's artfully tucked into 14, and it's canon for us, but it's not canon over there. And it's fine. It's like alternate universe stuff. I like it a lot.
Yeah, Ivalice and Omega crossed the line for a lot of people, so I think that's why they were calling it out. Like, this far ahead.
Identical.
And then, I don't know, Ivalice feels too well integrated to the 14 universe.
It does. It fit in really well.
Yeah, I agree. Omega is a little bit of a miss for me, but that may just be because I haven't played the games that were featured in it, so I don't know, like...
Oh, man, I loved Omega.
Are you saying you didn't like Omega? Or, like, how do you mean miss, Bonnie?
So, I liked Omega, but I felt like there was a little bit of a waste there because we didn't really get any source-related lore, like, until the final tier with Midgardstormer and the Dragon Star.
Agreed.
I would have liked more, like, relevant or clearly relevant lore in the first 2 tiers as well.
That's the same complaint I have of Eden. Identical complaint.
Yeah.
See, I feel that way about Nier.
Yeah, it's the same with Nier too.
Pacing,
this is a thing that they do, I think. Unfortunately.
They just...
As opposed to, say, like the Crystal Tower raid, which was just completely filled with lore.
Correct. Yeah, balance it out the whole way. Get some big reveals at the end, but don't like.
Yes.
Don't.
Same with Void Ark.
For me, this is off topic, but the Mitron thing, to have smashed that into 4 raids at the very end that take you all of an hour to complete, was a wasted opportunity. I don't like it when they burn out an Ascian they just introduce like that. I had the same feeling with Nabriales, and I feel like they're trying to get through them as quickly as possible to resolve the plot sometimes.
Yes, I do agree, and loading it too much is a thing that they do, and I don't prefer it. I don't really care for it, and I think a lot of fans find it frustrating at times. And I just imagine the possibility of having it revealed, yeah, I'm an Ascian. What are you going to do about it? You still have to continue rejuvenating the empty, and you can't do it without me. Imagine sitting on that for a couple months.
Yeah, between patches, like, oh, what's next? And then you have a 4-tier resolution. But, you know, you'd have to have the way they pace it, you'd have to have a 16-fight raid series, and it's always 12, period. So,
yeah, I think they're still ironing out their pacing, and that's something that's going to fluctuate based on which team members are working on it, too.
Mm-hmm.
At least this time we know from the artwork that it's going to be La Habra.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah. Lahi, Laha.
I'm really curious about the logistics because obviously we know what happened with Thordan, but it's the half mask mystery. It's like, did you seal the other half of yourself before you made a big mistake? Like, did you double check your save file? Like, what's going on here?
That was, like to point out, the half that he used in the Ascian Prime glyph. I don't believe we saw his glyph appear after they were defeated. No. He may only got half of it left.
Yeah, for sure.
The side that's missing was Igior.
Yeah, and it's also curious that well, not curious. It's interesting to me that that whole fight would have only expended half of his remaining unsundered ether. That's a lot of power.
And then we got fridged, rather.
Yeah, I'm really curious about this raid. I'm really hoping that he's our quest giver, not our enemy in it, but we'll see.
I think he will be. I think this is going to expand on the convocation a lot.
And on the ancients.
But is he going to talk more like Thancred or more like that vampire voice he used?
Imagine
knows,
It's a gravelly broken.
Like, I'm always up in the air about the voices for the Ascians because it's like, okay, well, are they going to use the host's voice or are they going to use their actual voice?
I am.
Or Batman voice.
Yeah.
Give him
The
just the
chaotic
oldest
confluence.
old man voice ever. He's old. The Alta La Habrea, all the other languages call him old other than English. Like
Yeah.
Emmett Self does.
No, Emmett just calls him an idiot.
Well,
English,
yeah,
please.
12K later, you've made some mistakes, bud. I don't know what you're doing. Crazy. Crazy.
You know, once a tsundere, always a tsundere.
And
He's
Elizabeth,
just
will
like,
you look at your
crazy,
damn
stupid,
crystal?
sexy La Habrea.
Yeah, we can move pretty quickly through this stuff since we've covered it in the previous
Yeah.
one.
Island
Island
Sanctuary.
Sanctuary,
We know next to nothing
because-
about it.
Just as basically Harvest Moon in 14. You don't.
I think it's incense housing.
You don't have to have a crafting or gathering class leveled to deal with it, but of course, having crafting and gathering may give you some perks, they said, or some more to do, something along those lines. Ishgard housing, no one cares. We want Charlotte.
I care. No,
care.
I want Ishgard housing. I'm going to live there. A bunch of people worked really hard to build my large house there, so I need to move into it.
And then next is data center travel.
Which we're getting before 6.0.
Yeah, they're aiming for 5.58.
Oh, that's
Which-
exciting.
On the roadmap, I'll scroll to the roadmap
Thank
on
you.
my end.
It was 5.58.
Yeah,
That's what they're going for.
5.8. They're expecting sometime in July, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
5.57 is going to be in June, and then 5.58 somewhere in July. They put it as kind of like a June to July for 5.57 and July to August for 5.58. It's kind of like a window.
So for challenging new dungeons, they're showcasing a Thavnaran dungeon and a spicy root system of a tower or Aoife tree dungeon.
Yeah, so that's the same slide that they used at the announcement showcase. They did not give us any screenshots during the showcase. They only gave us the video. But honestly, the video is a lot to unpack, and that is also in live chat if we want to go over that.
Indeed.
Which I think we should, because holy fuck.
First off, the music. I love it.
Yeah, Galvez's theme.
It's not actually Golbez's theme. His is
Really?
slower and has a different second section. It's the Tower of Zot music.
Ah.
I'm not sure what
The
to think
second
about
section is
Black
different. It's
Light
the same
Train.
first melody. They're fine. Charlie and Twist.
Yeah, the spiral. What is with this expansion and spirals?
It's all spiraling down. The cycle's coming to an end. This is what they've been saying.
Also, yes, from Daniel, kudos on the teeth gate.
Smile.
Chomp chomp. I hope the gate
Heading into
fight.
Garlemald. This is not canon. This is my spec. But we're
So, no,
sneaky
I agree.
Garlemald.
I think this is Corvos, and the Corvos is going to be a dungeon. And we are going to take a train from Corvos into Garlemald.
There's some interesting things like after this initial like highly clean part that I thought were kind of important to note. So that looks like the Garlean Palace that we see in the solo duty.
Mm-hmm.
Fines.
Yeah, it's like in the process of getting spined.
Getting zerged.
It's fine.
This is the one I so hard.
Yeah, I really want to know where this is because I'm fairly confident right
Look
now
at that, those
Look,
mountains.
desert and ice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's more
Ooh.
than desert and ice. If you
That's
rewind a
theoretically
little bit-
drained.
Yes.
Like if you rewind a little bit, there's actually 4 biomes that
Yes.
converge all in
Earth,
one.
air, fire, water. Earth for plants, fire is lava, ice is water, and air is the sand, windblown.
And each of those doorways seems to be like a seal between each of the biomes, but more importantly, those are anamnesis anidor basement, huge freaking concept crystals floating
Yep.
back there.
Correct.
I want to know what the spirally towers in each of the things is too, because those don't look very Amratine to me.
What that does.
Yeah, like the rest of this is very Amarant.
It's got Amarant plus some other, like, it's a cultural fusion thing going on.
Yeah.
What's been
This
going
makes
on
me
here?
think that we're going to get a lot very early.
So do you know, I'll let you guys know what my vibe with this is, and if I'm wrong, well, then I'm wrong. This
You know the
was
rules,
giving
you
me
need to
kind
know.
of like vibes of the Grand Cosmos from 5.1 for some reason. Like going through their home to try and fucking talk to someone. So I'm wondering if this is one of the Ancients' like home base, and we're
There are a
like
few left,
breaking
yeah.
in to try and be like,
Mhm.
help us.
It's just
Ascian Civil
Who
War.
has autoplay on? I'm just
Right?
kidding you. I'm just kidding you.
I have babies.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. You gotta teach them to hit next video on their own.
Myths of the Realm. Are we killing the 12?
Yes.
No.
No.
I'm not convinced we're killing them, but
They're
it's
not
possible.
real.
So is this
In a modern
implying that
sense.
the eternal bonding ceremony is a myth of the realm?
This
Doesn't
is
actually-
implying that we're killing the institution of marriage. Welcome to the future. No, I'm kidding.
I like to think that we are going to be effectively destroying the myth of the 12 and revealing that they're actually based on the convocation.
I think so
It would
too.
be interesting, and this is very much tinfoil, if Louis Sua's summoning was just enough to bring something into existence that has to be dispatched.
Mm-hmm.
Stop praying for the
Yeah.
12, you're making them stronger.
I mean,
But
not
we have
just
to use
Luis
time
Suarez.
magic, guys, and we need all 12 for that.
I mean, not just Luis Suarez. Remember that Papalimo also used the same spell to see
Oh.
Shinru.
Very
Yeah.
true. Maybe Papalimo took it one step too far.
Like, I do hope that the 12 are going to be bosses, because that also lines up with pretty well with how many bosses we tend to have.
It's true.
But also that's kind of just bias on my part, because I really want to see what they would do for Azama and Naldthal.
Yeah, I just want to see them.
Yeah.
I do indeed just want to see them.
It's just you.
That would be funny
Like it's a
if,
big
like,
version of
for
your avatar.
Azama, imagine if, like, for Azama, they just randomly pick one of the 24 people, scale you up to, like, 20 feet tall, and then that's
That'd be
the boss.
awesome.
It's not impossible they couldn't instance it so you see you.
That too.
I sincerely doubt that's the case. Since this is a summoning based on mythology, it's not going to be literally you. I regard no chance of that myself.
Yeah, it'll be based on like
But-
statues and stuff.
On the cards, we have the artwork on the cards that someone was kind enough to share. Viera.
Yep. So
There are voices.
I am
Bunny
very
boys.
happy that bunny boys are here because it's going to cut the population of my race choice in half.
Close to endangered.
I'm going to love it.
It's not gonna be that dramatic.
I mean,
Yeah, Game Lord Geek, that's one of the connections that is definitely intentional on their part.
I can't see the chat. What did it say?
Just realized, where do the 4-party fight the Magus sisters? It's in the Tower of Zot, in that
Correct.
image Soldier First Class post.
Mhm.
Really shows
Absolutely.
the Magus sisters. Yeah, that's all woven in together. It's
Yep.
gonna be a lot of fun.
This game is 4 is all get out.
it's a mix of many things.
Do a good job of mixing different things, finding common threads and themes.
All right, team. I have got to duck out, but it was fun.
Oh,
Absolutely. Well, we're about
And,
to close
we'll-
anyway, I think. Pretty
so
soon.
do you have to wrap up?
Yeah, because we already covered the PLL real quick, and the other thing was the Oceania Data Center.
Did earlier.
We did promise a trivia.
Not have time for a trivia. We can do it another time, though.
Yes. And we could add more questions. as
Meow
bonus
worked
since
very
we had to
hard on
delay
it.
I'm sorry, Meowth.
I made the slide specifically for that. I'm going to cry.
You are not going to cry. We will get to it.
Yes.
Hear that? Bonus stream, guys. Trivia session. We really might consider it, but we'll talk offline. Guys, thank you so much for coming out to episode 13. I know it's been a heck of a weekend, and we had a very long session today, but as usual, it's an absolute pleasure. Thank you for Bonnie for helping moderate and sending me files. The rest of you, I love you all, and I'll hope to see you all on Sunday.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Thank you for everyone for being here.
Thanks for sticking it out, guys. I know this was a long one.
Yeah.
Take care, everybody.
Be
See you next
safe,
time.
safe journeys.
Join us on Discord if you haven't already.
Get your friends to join us on Discord. Be more friends.
All right. Talk to you later.